crop me different again. Damn it.
All right, man. We're live. It's your boy
Whoa!
checking out that Outlining Our Enslavement Saturday night edition, the Balloon Grift edition.
I hope you're all in your bunkers right now. I hope you all got your gas masks ready. I hope you all got your food buckets ready.
If you're not talking about the balloon, you're not a real streamer. You're not a real truther.
Not a real streamer.
Look at that. Watch out behind you, bro. What's that?
Whoa,
Watch out, bro.
Wow! Whoa!
Oh, shit. Bro.
Wow! It's a damn Tricom balloon. Oh,
it's
Jesus, right here.
Spy balloon, dude, that the whole United States can see.
Oh.
Spy secret.
Whoa. I really hope Joe Biden does something about this.
Oh, man.
I really hope he does.
He's so lax on the airspace. He must work for China. Damn, dude. Is that a payload?
It looked just like the ISS, don't it?
It really did, though.
Don't it? Look just like the ISS. Looked like an egg, too. Shout out to Donut Factory.
The egg ritual continues.
Egg ritual continues. Calling the shots, bro.
Yeah, the balloon is now dead. They shot it down in the Atlantic Ocean.
Allegedly shot it down.
TikTok. Live on TikTok.
On TikTok. Everybody on TikTok somehow know to be filming right and going live right at the right time for it, I guess. Seemed kind of weird to me.
What a weird ass story and lame story.
Oh, yeah, to go viral, right? I mean, like, hold on. Let me whoa, there I go again with that what I was talking about earlier. Let me pull up the chat off of the
I did a stream on the backup channel. If you're not following, go there. It's Get Chalked Up on YouTube. And I showed that thing you put in your community post. What was that about?
Yeah, so there's an ongoing hold on. Let me get this right. Let me get this right. Hold on. We're delaying a second. Hold on. I'm technical boomer issues. Let me get my screen set up here real quick. Okay, hold on. Comments over here. Oh, bam. Big comments there. Oh, bam. Okay. Ooh. Oh, okay.
Tartarian Truth's in the chat. He says, let's hope God gave Lamsty makes a video about it.
Okay, so yeah, what I was talking about, you mentioned it in that test stream we did earlier. So there's this Air Force multinational Air Force training exercise going on that's like a worldwide group. They all come to Nellis Air Force Base in Nevada, and it's called Red Flag. So it's not the first time it's happened, but it just happens to be going on right now. So Red Flag 23-1, so year 23, and this is the first part of Operation Red Flag or Exercise Red Flag for the year. There'll be other parts of it, but the first part is between January 23rd and February 10th right now. So, but the whole purpose of this exercise is that nations that are all aligned with us, with America, are in a exercise about, it's like an OPFOR exercise. So they're practicing a scenario where Russia and China would attack the United States. Right at the same time that we have a Chinese spy surveillance balloon that suddenly pops up over the country.
I just threw that link in the chat. I got it playing on this stream. It's an hour-long thing. So what was the TLDR?
I only just posted this because I didn't know about this red flag myself until just a couple days ago. I thought it was weird, and I didn't connect it. And then there's this channel I follow that had a press brief. There's nothing really of super value in the press briefing. They're really just kind of going over it. I did kind of try to go deeper into like the units and like the equipment and all, because it's all kind of really outlined what's all being utilized. I didn't have enough time to go deep enough into it. I was hoping to find kind of a unit that was like focused on kind of like inflatable surveillance and stuff. I mean, I did come across some stuff, but not enough anything that's valuable. But anyway, so there's it's It's red flag. It's called red flag because it's about like the red flag, right? The Russians and the commies, right? 'Cause it goes back your right. So the Chinese flag, the red flag. That's why it's called red flag. So they have our own guys acting as if they're an op four, which is a opposition force, right? So they're acting as if they're Chinese or Russian, and then we're testing our military against that opposition force, which just so happens to be Chinese. And then so it just so happens that we have a Chinese spy balloon coming across the country at the same time that red flag's going on. And then so the multiple meanings there of red flag in itself, right? So you have it's a red flag, and then it's also the Chinese red flag. It's also curious that there's a red curtain behind them, but right. So I mean, is this like make China great again or whatever?
There's like a Chinese dude too.
Yeah, he looks a little Chinese-ish, right? Chinese-ish, right? I mean, I'm like I'm over here like nobody ever just looked at Google Earth.
Yeah,
Why y'all need why y'all need a spy balloon? Like literally just go on Google Earth. I can look at that. I can look at that.
Why would it be a spy balloon if it's like the whole United States could see it? So dumb.
Well, and then it just they allegedly, I guess, like that's what none of it makes sense, right? Like,
Right.
obviously, it was so low altitude that it would have been a pretty big target on like all like the standard civilian aircraft radars and stuff, right? So like air traffic controllers should have been like, okay, well, there's this huge thing on my radar. I need to know whether or not that this passenger airplane is going to run into this huge thing I'm seeing on my radar. So it should have been a thing way ahead of time, but then it somehow became a thing because some random guy took a picture of it, like, and then it's like another viral infection again, right? Like it really is because it's weird how when things like this like transcend all genres all of a sudden, like instantly, you know what I mean? Like same thing with like even like Ukraine, Russia situation. There's conflicts all over the world all the time, equivalent to what's going on in Ukraine and Russia. Yet people never even give a shit about it. But like the instant that happened, we went out of the COVID narrative straight into the woo woo 3 narrative, and then it seems like we're just pumping up the woo woo 3 narrative even more with this nonsense, right? um but if it was just some random guy took a picture of it and somehow that's what set it off to be viral, that easily could have just not happened. People could have easily just not known that was a thing, uh and it would have become a national international sensation. Okay. But yeah, it is strange perhaps that the Chinese admitted that it was a weather balloon or whatever. I mean, but who knows? I mean, how do we even know that they who knows what's going on with that? But
I'm gonna play your
okay, play my schizo theory
that's
on
what
that
I'm gonna
from
play. I gotta pull
2018.
it up.
I can extrapolate on it because there's more
Yeah,
to
okay.
that.
I'm
But
gonna pull it up right now.
yeah.
Hold on. I gotta share the screen. Hold on. Trying to get a guest in here. Not sure it's gonna go down, but we'll see. So you gotta go to EBT, make sure you subscribe, enslaved by truth. Whoops. Where's the sound?
No sound.
Why is there no sound?
No sound. Enslaved by truth.
Here we go.
Welcome to the machine. Another flat earth tech segment here. Roswell. Yeah, it was a cover up. The aliens is the cover up story. They're trying to cover up the fact that their top secret satellite fucking balloon fell out of sky. And they didn't want anybody to know about it. They didn't want to know about their balloons floating around in the sky. U-2 spy plane tows balloons around, looks for other balloons, tells the SR-71, there's a balloon here. This giant pointy little airplane here with a sharp point here and sharp points here. This flies around and knocks down the spy balloons. That's what it does.
No, that's 2018. You made
2018. Okay, so there's
head of the game.
There's another part of this video that I didn't upload. Okay, but if you I'm not going to screen share. I'm not trying to do it. But if you can just Google images C-130 Skyhook, and if you pull that up, I'll talk on that for a second. The other part of my schizo theory from 2018. So there's this thing called the Fulton Recovery System that they use for like CIA agents or Navy SEALs, MACV guys, all this stuff. So a single guy operative, multiple single operatives on the ground, supposedly had this system where they could release a balloon up into the sky that was tethered to them to a harness, and that there was this specially outfitted C-130 aircraft, which was with a hook system on it that would be able to recover these guys from the ground. Right, so you're in the middle of nowhere. You're a special ops guy doing some kind of crazy mission, allegedly, and you can let this balloon off. Somehow you're going to contact the Air Force and everything, and then like a C-130 is going to come by and grab that balloon on that wire and jerk you up into the sky, and then reliably reel the cable on that you're hooked back into, reel that cable back into the airplane somehow. Which is a completely ridiculous idea that this would be would even be considered to be something, a way to be able to recover an asset in a behind enemy lines or ever. The risk that would be allowed for a system like this, I mean, it wouldn't even be considered. What I think is like in that schizo video that I had uploaded there is that after the SR-71 demolishes the balloon, there's still a tether in the sky. The C-130 Skyhook comes in, skyhooks that device, and then they're able to recover the device in the air to recover the stuff off the device. Whether or not, like today, they showed us allegedly they shot. Didn't even make sense. They supposedly said there was the F-22 pulling this wicked contrail, launches a missile, and then there's this big explosion or whatever, and then the balloon's up here, and then the hanging device is still coming down completely intact. So I don't know if they somehow got the missile from the F-22 to hit the tether or something. It doesn't. None of it makes sense. It's just stupid.
Was the Black Tom Cruise thing actually true?
Okay, yeah. Put that up because that's the most funny part of the whole thing.
Okay, hold on. I gotta find.
Yeah, I didn't fact check it. I was just hoping it was gonna be true.
Yeah, I haven't had a chance to
not true. Damn it! I figured it wasn't
right now.
That would have been next level.
I figured it wasn't true. I knew we couldn't get. I knew, but it seemed it was. It could have been true.
This is it right here. So they said Vice News tweeted this: ace pilot named Black Tom Cruise destroyed China balloon during Black History Month, and this was going all around because I wanted to see. I just kind of believed it at first, and then I went and looked, and it was on Reddit. It was all over, but it had already been like deleted because everyone was like, "Oh, this is not real. Double check it." And then they were getting downvoted into oblivion on Reddit for saying it's not real, even though it's not real. I thought I had it up on the screen. My bad.
Yeah, look, it's Wayne Brady. It's Wayne Brady in there, aka Michelle Obama.
Yeah, that's Michelle.
Amazing.
Yeah.
My bad. I thought I had that up there on the screen the whole time.
But I mean, it's one of these ones where I didn't have time to look at. It sounds real. That would have been a completely normal headline.
Yeah, with the way
I mean, when I saw it, I thought it was parody. I figured it was kind of parody, but at the same time, I was like, you can't even know. That's even what Tinfoil said. Tinfoil said in the Discord, he was like, this isn't even a sardonic anymore. Like, this is just, they're lampooning us straight up, and it's not even.
Too bad it was fake.
Too bad it's fake.
But what's up, everyone? We got Sheminem in the house, aka Tartarian.
What's up, chat? What's up?
Tartarian Truth, YouTube heavyweight here, man. He's blowing up. I don't consider him a friend.
I'll say his name.
Tartarian
Truth.
I've already blocked him on the channel.
I don't care if you.
Yeah, I love that shit. I love that shit. I'm glad he said it again finally.
You bring a lot of quality people over to my channel.
Did you see any of that stream earlier? He said that he predicted this balloon 2 years ago. I was cracking up.
Yeah, he did.
What did he say?
Right off the bat, they went out of it right off the bat. He's like, I already told y'all about what's going on here.
I haven't watched the whole thing yet, but yeah, I was just
What?
Okay,
What
so
did he claim that he said?
he was just going on the whole the whole old idea.
it's right at the
Exactly
beginning. If you
kind of
want
what
to
my
play it.
video is, that satellites are balloons, right?
Yeah, he was just saying that he said that the satellites are balloons and blah blah blah. And he connected to another story the other day. I don't remember what it is right now though, but you could probably play it if you wanted to. It's funny because right at the beginning of the stream, it looks like Matt's super uncomfortable.
So the sky is a simulation. Down here is a simulation. There's a simulated dome. So in the simulation, somehow they can't go outside of the simulation. None of it really makes sense if you really think about it, but
It's just his way of saying that he believes in flat Earth and
right. It's a nugget enough to be able to pull in people that are in that community.
Because he had a video less than a year ago where he came out and he like discovered flat Earth for the first time or something because he's like freaking out about it. And he's just like, oh yeah, I believe it. If the Earth is definitely flat, if I had to pick, and then obviously you know what he says now. He's all, it doesn't matter what the shape of the Earth is. A lot of these guys do, which I mean I agree with them. It doesn't really matter too much, but
no, and I'm the same way, but for a different reason.
yeah, it's like for him, it's more of a. It seems like it's monetary.
Oh yeah, he's got to play all the he's covering all his bases.
Okay, so he also said today he's gonna make a video. He wants to make a video specifically about highlighting and calling out all the haters.
Oh, I missed that part. That's gonna be nice.
Okay, so I was gonna ask you. There's this guy he talked about. I mentioned this to Drew earlier. Now I forgot his name. John Campbell, something Campbell, Joe Campbell, or he mentioned some guy in that stream. He's saying that's his number one hater. I couldn't figure out who it was, or
Yeah, I don't know either. I haven't seen it.
I looked it up and it was like some kind of like exercise guy. Like,
Somebody said he passed Matt in subs now. Finally, I'm about to fact check.
He's over 90. I didn't check what Matt was at. I think he did pass him.
See if that's true. 90.5.
Dude, that Matt did a video of a simulation book that he saw in the Matrix or something, and he just straight up admits in the video that he didn't even read it before he made the video about it. So he's just describing the book to his listeners and getting all
the book report.
Bulliard, Simulacrum.
Yeah, I haven't read it either. But dude,
Archaics is at 90.5 and QOC is at 90.2. So he got him finally.
Yeah.
It took him longer though than we thought it would.
We were only a month off.
They're about to get in the road too. Archaics going mobile.
Is that what he said?
Yeah.
I haven't watched it, man. I can't watch it anymore. It's just so ridiculous. It just
I listen to it at work because
like my blood pressure gets all raised. I'm like, this motherfucker is just saying any bullshit he wants. The comments are like, oh my fucking god, you're the smartest fucking man ever. Fucking retards, man.
I wish I could see the comments more.
The viewership and the comments seem to be dwindling, I think, lately. But
well, that's what it's like for everyone, it seems like, which they're making up. Did you see them making up these excuses that they're getting shadow banned? It's like, no, people are just starting to realize that you're bullshitting and not putting effort into what you're doing.
He's saying the same shit all the time, too.
Well, and then he even admitted that, too. He's like, well, I didn't really do much in January, but at the same time, my viewership and views went down. I must be being shadow banned. You know, he talks out of both sides of his mouth every sentence.
It's a lot of these guys just don't realize that. They think people that are watching them are just stupid, so they can just put out this low effort content and nothing changes. It's like, no, people can tell when you don't give a fuck anymore. People come to watch you to feel the passion coming out of you. You know what I'm saying? Like, so a lot of these guys, they just do the laziest content. It's like, I don't know.
But
people notice.
But at the same time, he is baiting the hook with the Tartarian. With the Archaics movie, and then we have the conference coming up, and the conference will be live streamed. There's only 25 seats left, Drew. So
23 because we going.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to try to convince.
I'll buy it tonight.
Let's go, Tartarian Truth.
You should make a goal in the chat. Like, we should make the audience pay for this trip. Is what I'm saying.
Like start one of those GoFundMe's or something, or just
I did think about going undercover for real though, just just to
Oh, it'd be funny as hell.
have a
where-
conversation with Jason, and like he'll be like, "Oh, I like this guy," and it turns out it's me.
Tartarian truth.
Be hilarious.
So yeah, I mean, like I talked to my wife about it. She's always like, you should go and do it. Like, I really
She wants
do.
you out of the house, dude. She's like,
I
"Get the
do
fuck
wanna go.
out! Don't fuck away from me, motherfucker."
Well, you see, her Well, this is what's weird. This is the reason I brought it up, because her family from Dallas, Fort Worth, Texas, is coming up here around the same time. I was like, oh damn, I wish I had known that, because I wanted to go down there. I wanted to go down there around the same time to go to this thing or whatever. So I don't know. I really want to go. I really want to go. I mean, I think the audience should like donate and pay for it, or
It's gonna be
26
like
left.
I don't know.
it'll be like you're walking into a bingo hall and just full of all these old ladies.
He
smoking
claims there's gonna be
cigarettes.
bikers. It should be an interesting crowd.
Yeah, he's like got the bikers are here for security. What are you gonna do? Beat somebody's ass while they're live streaming it or something? Stupid.
Well,
ass.
and they said to bring cash. They said to bring cash because there's going to be there's going to be a merch booth too.
Oh, there's gonna be a merch booth.
The first annual. Yeah, I don't
Hey,
know.
Archaics, you're all about your money, Archaics. You want a real logo for a shirt? Hit me up. I got a.
Oh
I
yeah,
got a sick
that's
idea
another. That's
for a
another
logo.
part from today. They were showing off this shirt from somebody that made. It's like all your shirts are terrible. They all suck, dude.
I have the sickest Archaics idea, but I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to give it to him for free.
Hire Drew. Hire Drew. Buy 13
money,
shirts.
Archaics. I swear, I have the dopest idea for an Archaic shirt. It'd be insane, bro.
Oh, the shirts would be totally dope.
I'll hide like a penis or something in the logo that he doesn't notice.
Yeah, like Michelangelo on the Sistine Chapel, just painting little baby dicks everywhere. Yep. You're like, damn it, why'd we pay this dude to do this shit?
That's
Paint baby dicks all over it.
I love how he took down that search engine from his website because he was paranoid about the anonymous donation.
Well,
it's on the wiki though, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't been able to locate it.
It wasn't anything special though. That was one of the most hilarious parts. But he's like, I don't even know how somebody was capable of even doing it. You can download the transcripts and put them into a simple search. Like it's not complicated at all.
Transcript. You can just put in transcript search on YouTube and then put the link, and then it'll bring up the entire transcript, text to speech or whatever. And then that's how they had it. And then you just searched that, and it shows you the timestamps. So now the last time I haven't looked at it lately, but the last time I looked, there was an Archaics wiki, which was separate from his thing. And that same feature was on that.
Archaics wiki. I haven't seen that yet.
Yeah, you got to look it up. It might not still be a thing. That was a couple months ago.
No, they do that. Yeah, I saw it. Yeah, it's a thing.
I'm shocked that I haven't been kicked from the Facebook group. I'm pretty sure I've posted in there too.
Oh, damn.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah. But
yeah, I don't even go on.
Make
Facebook.
sure everyone you're subscribed to Tartarian Truth, man. He's going in hard on these.
You don't have to.
These big truthers, man. And I got a couple questions for you, man. If you don't mind, if you got some time,
go for it.
I would ask you, like, how did you get started, like, looking into all this conspiracy, whatever you want to call it, truther type stuff?
You mean like why did I start making the videos, or how did I
like
find out
before
about
you made the
conspiracies?
videos? Like, what got you into looking into that kind of stuff? Because you seem to have a high level of understanding of it, so I doubt you just started making videos right away.
Oh yeah, it's been years. Like it was in high school, really, when I first discovered that something was off about history. Like I guess like where it started is like I've always like really respected my dad, and he kind of gave me advice when I was younger, is always try to understand your enemies. And I really enjoyed history for some reason. So I started looking into World War II a lot, and I realized like something was very off about this entire situation. I also lived through September 11th and stuff like that. So just little things like that led me in the direction of trying to figure out like what was off about reality, I guess. And then fast forward a lot longer than that, we had the whole 2016 happened with Trump and everything, and it seemed like people were just very influenced by the media, and I thought it was so strange because I don't really watch TV or the media at all. Like I try not to consume any forms of media just because I don't know, it's low effort maybe. Like I don't like it, I guess. But so when all that happened, I was like, wow, this is really strange how influenced people that I love and care about are by these strangers that they don't have any connection with. They don't know anything about them. So it's like, oh, this is strange. So I randomly just started watching stuff about like that Sandy Hook stuff that was going down, and then next thing you know, I'm just deep into these conspiracies, finding these.
Whoa! Handy Sook.
Yeah,
Andy
what?
Sook.
I'm sorry. Yeah, sorry about that. I forgot about those.
Yeah,
things.
I never heard of that one. What's that
Yeah.
one?
No,
Wow.
it was like a soap opera or something. I'm pretty sure. Just yeah. But
What were some of like the first channels that you remember getting into?
yeah. So, anyways, YouTube ended up suggesting some channels after all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? So I think Robert Seffer was actually the first person out of like the truther community that got suggested to me, possibly. And then shortly after that, I found John Levi, and I think after that it might have been like Wise Up, and then after that it's just come with all these other guys over time. So yeah, when I first found John Levi and all those guys, I was thinking to myself like, okay, because they're promoting the idea that everything's fake, blah blah blah, all information should be public and people should be open to all ideas. So that was when I was coming into it, I was like, oh, this is cool. Yeah, this is what I'm looking for, is people who aren't stuck in one position and they want to have an open discussion about anything. So then a couple years later, I'm starting to realize that's not how it was. Like the first thing that happened that threw me off was I got banned from Robert Seffer's Facebook group for like asking a very simple question. I was just like, what? Like this is back when I'm like innocent. I'm just thinking like, oh, this guy's cool. I'm going to ask him a question. So he bans me from his Facebook group. I'm just like, this is kind of strange. I don't remember what I asked him though, because this was a long time ago. But just like, this is not what I expected. Like, why behave exactly like the mainstream if you leave the mainstream, was my thought process. So eventually I just, kind of just started, I guess, laughing about shit that was happening. Like I was listening to John Levi. I'm just like, dude, this is hilarious as fuck. I was listening to Wise Up especially. I'm like, dude, this guy is funny as fuck and he doesn't even mean to be. So one day I just made a Wise Up parody and I uploaded it to my personal YouTube channel, and I watched it like a week later or something. I was like, this is kind of funny. So I think I made like a John Levi video after that. And then I was like, oh, I might as well just do something with this, I guess. I don't know, it's fun. I always enjoyed making videos and stuff when I was growing up. So I don't know if there's anything else. I know I'm just rambling at this point.
No, you're good.
That's what we're here for. That's what we're here. But that's what I appreciated when I found you, was because I had been saying on this channel for a long time that I thought a lot of these people were like intentional parodies from like John Levi was one. Like I always thought the dude was never serious. I thought he was always really kind of a parody, and maybe he's not. Maybe that really is just his character or whatever. Maybe he found a grift that he's running with, or maybe he's completely honest. I don't know. I'm not going to judge the man's character, but I just, when I first came upon you, it was really great to just see how you just were able to just clip their own words and just make it, just highlight the things that are ridiculous.
Yeah, that's what's super funny about it. If for some reason you've never seen his channel, it's he doesn't say anything. He just takes their clips and like.
Well, there are some examples where I write original stories, but most of it is like
you do their voices and stuff in some of them.
Well, and that's one of the earlier on ones that were hilarious. Like I think the first one I ever saw, one I ever saw was the Archaics Loki van blog, and I didn't even know who Archaics. I found Archaics through Tartarian Truth, and I shared that video to Drew. I'm like, Drew, check this out. And then I was like, check this Archaics fucking dude out. Like, we got to go after this dude. Like, this is the next big thing. And but yeah, I came across Archaics because that Loki van blog video. That's and you were doing his voice, and it was so. I'm like, dude. I was like, oh my god, is this a real character? I was like, this is hilarious, and I had to go and look and find the actual character, and it turned out the actual character was funnier than the.
That's exactly literally. That's the thing about it for me too. Like that's what it is for me too. Because when someone suggested Archaics to me, I can't remember who it is. I need to figure it out. But I watched that video first for some reason, and I saw the first thing I saw was this windshield wiper blades, dude. Like,
oh, and they're good.
And I'm like, dude, this guy is not being serious right now. So I don't know.
He redesigned the whole damn van. Fixed what the hell's going on with the windshield wipers, bro?
But he actually talked about that Loki video the other day. He's like, I think that's my favorite video I've ever made. A couple streams ago, I heard.
Oh, he talks. Yeah, he's been talking about it a lot lately. Yeah,
it's funny. So yeah, that was the start of it, I guess, for us meeting. Yeah, I remember that. I was shocked because when you guys first shared that video or something, I don't remember what I was tagged on something. I remember thinking like, holy shit, there's other people doing this too. This is fucking awesome. Like, I was so stoked. I think I made a community post. I was like, someone should make a chat about this because this is awesome.
Well, yeah, I was talking to Drew in the backstage about it too. I was like, when I came across it, I was like, I don't remember how I reached out to you, or maybe it was just in the comment. I was like, "Yo, we'll shout you out on Drew's channel and my channel, and I'll shout you out on our IG. Like, do you have an IG and all this stuff?" And I was like,
Nice.
I was just like, "This is great. Like, this man's material needs to be seen by people."
Well,
And
damn,
you know what I
appreciate
was
that.
thinking? I was thinking on your last one, the last one you did. I'm like, this is still so hilarious. Like, this should be like dull and old by now, but it's still so freaking hilarious. Like,
It's because the people in it. They're like, let's be
yeah,
honest. Like, that's why like I posted the memes and stuff that I use on YouTube so other people would start making videos. Hopefully, like it. I was so stoked when Wooden Nichols did it because his
oh
video is
yeah, that
fucking
was
like that shit is
that was
hilarious.
good. That was good. That was
Like,
good.
Shout
Like,
out Woody.
I hope he makes more. Like, even if it's about me or whatever. Because
Oh, and
genuinely, go ahead.
shout out Bernie. Shout out Burn Eye, the
Oh, yeah, for
science
sure.
guy or whatever the fuck his name is.
Yeah,
But yeah, shout out Bernie.
But yeah,
I don't know
like,
who that is. Who's that?
That's who that's that Wooden Nichols video was, because Wooden Nichols doesn't like
Yeah,
doesn't like
they have beef.
doesn't like it. Yeah, they have beef, right?
That's why I was like, why are they bringing me into the middle of this beef? But I guess I could understand. It was funny though. But I mean, I woke up and I saw that video. It made my morning. I was cracking up so much. The meme placement was really great. I hope he makes more.
But Bernie does get in beefs somewhat easily as well too. I know that he got mad at us like several weeks ago when I was in the chat, and I was just messing with them, and then he got mad and flipped out, came in with sock accounts, started saying shit, and then I was like,
Well, that's why I like Bernie. I like
Bernie. I like Bernie. He seems like just an honest guy. Like, I don't see anything nefarious about him, but I do remember saying a long time ago, I was like, you gotta do a video on Bernie because like there's so many like funny moments in their stream.
That's the thing that plays into it too, is like a lot of the videos that I make are from people that I actually just watch, you know what I mean? Like, I'm interested in what they have to say. Bernie, like, there's nothing against him. I stop by his streams and say what's up every once in a while and check. Sometimes I've watched, a couple hours of it, but I'm not always interested in what he's saying. So I'm not going to make a video about something I'm not connected to. Then it will probably be shitty, I guess. You know what I mean? That's my thought process.
Yeah, and but Bernie's one of the ones that kind of always like mods everybody in the chats, which I always think is kind of weird. But like, I always like do a lot of, for a long time I was doing pushback in his chats because like, really not down with all this like stupid ass free energy shit, and I don't know what the fuck he's doing in those fucking jars in his little room. Like,
dude, in the Wooden Nichols video when he had to vomit shit for the jar, that was funny as fuck.
I love the dude. I'm just saying, like, it's funny. You just got to admit that it's fun, and I think he's okay with that, which is
yeah,
that's okay. But at the same time, I don't know, But the Nichols video was hilarious. It was hilarious. But okay, so
we need Wooden and Ewar. You got to come on sometime.
So Drew, I don't know if you watched the other night, but Tartarian Truth went on with the guys that were in that Wooden Nichols parody of his parody.
I didn't see that. I'm slipping.
Yeah.
I guess.
So they're that. What's his name? The British
Ancient Historia. Yeah, Luke.
Ancient Historia. And I hadn't actually watched this guy before yet, but the stream that TT did with them, like, the dude's like super freaking knowledgeable, but super freaking high too. Like, but I mean, like, they're going off on British history, and I'm like, oh shit, my British history knowledge is pretty limited. I don't know if this is real or if this is bullshit. But then it goes up, and then but then my critique would be, and I think I do kind of appreciate, because TT was putting some kind of, trying to be kind of level-headed at some points, like where are we going with this whole idea, like trying to provide some pushback, because it was easy for them to go off, in this crazy speculation.
I only had to cut off Bernie one time, like, officially, because he started talking about, I can't remember what he was talking about, but I was like, dude, this is I'm not trying to be rude. I know it's your channel, but we got to continue. Like it was one of those moments.
Yeah.
But I mean,
no, it was a great episode.
Overall the conversation was amazing.
No, but I really, because the first time I saw that guy was from that Wood Nichols parody, and I was like, and then yours, I guess, right? You did one, right?
Bernie. Yeah.
No, of the Historia guy or whatever.
No, he just came out. That's why, that was another thing about the video when Wood and Nichols like he won't make this video. I was like, dude, that guy literally just came out like 3 weeks ago. How the hell am I supposed to know who he is?
Right.
I didn't even know who the fuck he was.
Yeah. Okay. So so maybe I'm not. Yeah. So maybe I'm not. Yeah, I hadn't seen him before, other than that Nichols video. I was like, okay, what the fuck is this? This guy's like retarded. But then watching that stream with you, I'm like, okay, well, this guy is actually like really freaking knowledgeable, like, or maybe I don't know. He seems super knowledgeable at the same time, very stoned and
he seemed
Shem, it seems like you like to like rein these guys or like call them out when they get like too far out of the like pure speculation land or sci-fi fantasy. Is that kind of your problem with the Tartarian thing?
My problem with the Tartarian thing, my biggest problem with it would be just the behaving exactly like the community that they claim to have left. The reason that I call them out on the really extreme points and stuff like that is because I still want to provide that information for people to like make their own mind about I guess, because I don't know for sure. But at the same time, like it's hilarious because you get these weird theories like for example, the aerodynamic penguin. Obviously that one's fake, but you have shit that's right up there with it that people are saying. Like for example, people talk about like portals and stuff like that when it comes to that free energy stuff, where they talk about like, you know, giants being formed into a continent or something like that. And it's just like, at what point do you draw the line? So yeah, so like while I'm trying to be a little bit neutral and still show the information, I think it's funny to laugh at it, and then people can just check it out on their own, I guess, and make their own minds up about it still, because like I said, I don't know.
That's what I like. That's why I think you do have to laugh at some of this stuff, but at the same time, you can admit, you know, that there's something behind a lot of this stuff, and we've never denied that here. I mean, we've done streams about North America being a giant dragon. Okay, like we're, you know, like a lot of people think we're just straight out here.
Titan, that's nothing.
For some reason, a lot of people think we're just some religious zealots out here, like
that's weird too.
Debunking everything.
You guys in the chat right now saying that same type of shit. He's dumb.
And then even just the pushback, and like I know even Tartarian Truth did videos against Awar and Nichols early on, right when they flip flopped, right? But then that's what I had been saying forever from when that video went viral. Awar's series, Lost History of Flat Earth. I was saying that was a parody from the get-go. The same thing with that Gog Gillespie Crater Earth thing. Like that's not a serious video. That's meant to be comedy. The way that I'm looking at it.
He plays the Nirvana clip from Smells Like Teen Spirit like 35 to 40 times in the same video. It's insane.
I haven't even watched. I need to like go through and watch that dude and try to understand what that theory is. I only watched a couple of the Crater Earth guy, and it was just so far out there. I was like, what the but I kind of want to see it because I know it's way out there.
Yeah, it's Crater Earth mixed with like Michael Tazarian, like Mind Unveiled, like Irish or the origin of like all civilization, like, and then mixed in with Crater Earth, and then mixed in with MK Ultra, Disneyland stuff. Like,
yeah, he thinks Walt Disney is Adolf Hitler.
Right? Yeah, it's a conglomeration of a lot of conspiracy theories, and it's just there's like so much in it.
To Archaics, like it was like before Archaics, and maybe not quite as good with not quite as much everything balled into one.
The craziest thing about Gog Gillespie is the production value is insane. Those videos have to take. There has to be so much time being put into those. There's so much graphics, so much that goes into those videos that it's unreal. Really,
yeah,
I mean,
he animates them.
He animates it. Yeah, it's crazy.
Real quick, the chat's talking about Captain Lou. No, not Captain Lou, the real Crater Earth. Commander Lou.
Commander.
He stole the name. the real channel is called God Give Lamsty or some
Yeah.
shit like that. And
No, we've
that's what
exposed
he stole
Commander.
that from. Yeah, the Commander's dead and over with. We killed him last year. He was a casualty of 2022.
no.
He's in the morgue right now. Toe tag.
I don't even understand. I mean, we really could have actually gone way further into that dude because we kind of found out a little bit of his background, which is pretty freaking
Lou,
weird.
Commander
Yeah,
Lou.
Yeah,
Commander
Rob, that's
Lou.
correct.
I don't know if we talked about his weird church that he belongs to and all this.
Yeah,
I don't
found
even know
him
who
as
that
part
is.
of some weird church, and
Yeah.
he was already dead at that point. So
What
but he
he's
stole
just
the
a
name
strange man. Yeah,
from
he
that
stole the
Greater
name.
Earth channel, and then like made a. That's why he kind of. I think he got away from that name.
He's like the Soul Luckman. He's like the Soul Luckman of Archaics, right? Like he just
it's like
kind of
piggybacking
takes
off
the
of that
terms and names
Yeah.
and like, yeah.
Have you guys heard of that New Earth channel from Sylvia or whatever before?
What is it?
No.
It's called New Earth. So I think that's where a lot of these channels got their information from. I'm not sure because I've tried to watch her channel. It's just so fucking like it's.
Is it
I don't
bad
want to
shit?
be. I don't want to be too offensive to her. But hey, it's fucking awful. Like I can't stand it. But I think that's where a lot of these channels got their information from. So it would be interesting to go back in time.
Is it like
and-
an old channel?
Yeah, it's like the videos are like 12 years old, 10 years old. But she still makes videos now, but they're mostly prophecies. She like see what I think she did basically was just translate other people's work because she's Russian or something. I've only watched like 4 of her videos, but it seems to me like she's just taking other people's work and translating it to English and presenting it as her own, which is why she doesn't allow comments on her videos or any feedback. But hey, that's just a theory.
I think I've heard of the name, but I'm not.
I think it would be interesting to go back in the videos and find if a lot of these theories that are passed around in the Tartarian community came from her videos or where the source is. Because I'm still trying to find out exactly where the source is for some of these videos. Because one thing I found really weird the other day was I was reading Fomenko's chronology again to just kind of give it another visit. And I was like, holy shit, Mind Unveiled literally just read sentence for sentence from this book in certain parts of their videos. And I started, because I've listened to their videos a lot to do parodies and stuff. And I was thinking like they didn't like sometimes they do say that they quote books and stuff, but other times they were just reading it directly without saying it. And I thought that was kind of strange, but it was like it wasn't far into the book. It was at the very beginning of the book. So it's like, are these people just reading the very first part of these books and then
Yeah,
building their channels around that? Like
that's literally there. And I'm glad that you brought it up because I wanted to talk about Fomenko.
We gotta talk about Mind Unveiled. This is the new bad shit fucking bullshit.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with a lot. If you're well versed in listening to a lot of this stuff, it's easy to tell when somebody's taking like a little snippet out of something and building a whole theory about it. And so much of the Tartarian community really goes back to Fomenko somehow, and they act like as if Fomenko is claiming there's this 1,000 missing years, and that's not even like it. That's not even the theory in the book or whatever. Like there's even Jason brought this up in the stream today. Somebody asked about Fomenko, and he's like, well, from I've looked at, I'm not understanding what you guys are talking about missing time and all this stuff. Like Fomenko's theory, and it's super crazy, and it's really kind of similar to Jason's theory. Somehow he's made a mathematical formula that can somehow decipher history, like history data somehow or whatever.
from my understanding, which I've said this before, I don't understand the work whatsoever. I've read it. I've read the first volume. I'm on my 4th read of it, which 2 of those were audiobooks. So I've only read the physical copy once, and I can't find the other ones because I don't know how the fuck these people are finding them, but they're hard to find. So from my understanding, though, from the first volume is that he's taking basically the Julian calendar and all these other calendars and transitioning those dates because he's saying that history was written, the dates they're giving and all the history was written in these different calendars. So he's basically just like doing the mathematics aligned with the stars and the astrology and trying to like configure when this all fits into our current calendar, which was created very recently. So
Right.
That's my understanding of it so far.
The more you look into the Fomenko theory, the less that it makes sense. I mean, and like that's what I've said before, that anybody that acts like they know what Fomenko's talking about, they haven't read it enough, because if the more you read it, the less it makes sense. Like and then like even that Jonathan Mack times, I know we talked about that before, and I think you mentioned that you watched that his series he did reading through it. But eventually once you get through so much of it, it's like you don't even understand what Fomenko doesn't even understand what chronology is, and then at the same time, like I don't know what chronology is, because the more you learn about what chronology is, like it's so hard to understand. Like, what does he mean by Scalia? Joseph Scaliger's chronology. Like, what exactly did that guy make up that is chronology? Like there's no real distinctions. And then he goes off. There's Scaliger and Dionysius. So the Calvinist and the Jesuit. Those are his two main people that he goes against in the new chronology or whatever. But there's never ever any clear distinction of what actual chronology is. And then once you think you're understanding it, he'll bring in something like dendrochronology, like tree rings, and like
Yeah.
it just you get more and more confused.
That's why.
And then he'll bring in some mathematical formula that says, well, I know because I can look through this historical record and I can look at I can find a pattern that where this guy, Alexander Komenioff or whatever, is actually Jesus based on the math. And then that all this was invented in like the 1600s or whatever, like, but it's all based on some weird algorithm like the Orpheus program that still hasn't been explained from archaics, but yet he still brings it up. The guy can't figure out how to live stream, but somehow he invented a computer software system that accurately predicts the future.
Excuse me.
Like, why is nobody like, what the fuck? What?
No, I agree with you. That Orpheus thing is impressive. I haven't even looked
The
into
Orpheus
it.
is the biggest red flag, other than we don't even have to bring it up. But the Orpheus program is the biggest red flag.
Speaking of red flags, can I share my screen real quick?
Oh yeah.
This is a pretty stupid point, and it's kind of maybe controversial for some people, but let's see. Basically, the idea behind this to me is that this entire Fomenko English translation is maybe someone trolling. I mean, it's a ridiculous claim, obviously, but at the beginning of this English translation, it's just so corny. Like I last night when I saw this, I started cracking up because it's just so unnecessary and so stupid. Let me get to it real quick. I'm sorry. It's right at the beginning of the book. So basically, this is the chronology 1. So right before you get started reading, you have some guy who decided to put this quote right here. Like, this is so corny and so unnecessary. So it's like, when I see something like this, I just think to myself, either ego is out of the park or someone is playing a joke or something. Because,
well, yeah, and then Orwell is an actual like official propaganda, like a propaganda agent of the state. Like if you look at,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I'm good. Yeah, no, Orwell's a propaganda agent of the British intelligence agencies.
I was just going to say, to the point you were making earlier about how confusing it is, that's why I also think that is a joke, because once you start reading into it, because like right here, it breaks down the different volumes. You can't even find this chronology 7 anywhere, like at all. You can buy these other ones for high prices. I don't know.
Okay, so the other person I'd like to mention that I know I've talked about for years here, but Schism 206, Michael Joseph, he went into a lot of this stuff years and years ago in his epic series that he had made. But yeah, he went back and tried to like fact check some of these sources from Fomenko, or that a lot of the truthers would talk about, and none of them were translated and stuff like this. And it's like, but then they'd be in like French or something. He'd be able to find them, and then he would translate what the sources are out of Fomenko, and then translate them out of the French, and then like it'd be nothing even close to what like the source is claiming that it's supposed to be and stuff like that. So like the more you check the sources, the more it's like, well,
that's what I started doing too.
It's not even true.
Look,
and this is why we really need to get together and do the Phoenix Challenge.
Dude, that's what I'm saying. We need to do. I would love to do that with you guys.
Yes, Phoenix Challenge. What is that?
We're gonna break.
So in a van blog, Jason lined up the Phoenix Challenge. Okay, so he lays, and I have notes for that. I started doing it. I made notes on that video, and I'm like, we're gonna do this. But he he spewed out these dates that he say are undeniable that nobody can challenge him against, that somehow prove his Phoenix cycle or whatever. Even though like today the video, I don't know how far you got into it, but I listened to the whole thing. But it was supposedly an advanced lecture on archaics, but it was just the same crap over and over again with some other shit added into it. But then there's so many freaking cycles. There's the Nemesis X cycle. There's multiple Phoenix cycles, which I don't understand why nobody's like, well, what when does the 138 cycle become? When does it transition from the 552 cycle? Like, there's so much none of it makes sense. And then he's going about today, the one that I think was unusual. He was talking about the transition from the 360-day calendar transition to the 365, which normally before he used to blame on the papacy, on the Roman papacy changing it. But now, and maybe this is because and I've consumed so much of his material, so I feel like I'm okay to say it. But now the dark satellite is the reason why the year changed to 365 days instead of 360 days. But somehow, even though that changed, the Phoenix cycle still works on a 138-year cycle.
Yeah, I've heard him say that.
And I don't understand how he makes the calculation to know what. I don't know. I guess I gotta look at my charts. I guess I gotta look at my charts to know what's going on. I don't know. None of it makes sense.
That challenge, he's not gonna like acknowledge it though. You'd wait.
He says he will. We're submit our thesis. We're supposed to write a full a complete thesis against them.
Of a fucking schizophrenic fucking rapist.
Right. You can't it's under and he says it himself. Every Tartarian truth video says you can't prove my theory. But my theory is true.
Yeah. But it's true.
Dude,
what are you gonna do? What can we do? But I really do.
Remember the other one?
I really do think we need to do the Phoenix
books
challenge.
Are gone, but I've read all the old books.
That's kind of
yeah. Old books don't exist. Old books don't exist, but I've read all the old books.
Read them all. Like, get the fuck
and then Nag Hammadi. My Nag Hammadi scriptures, like, okay, so there's random fucking scrolls in some jars that the Rockefeller Foundation finds somehow. Randomly, some farmer boy finds it. The Rockefeller Foundation pays to get them or whatever. Like, yeah, those are real, probably, I guess. 1947. Nobody knew about these books in 1947. I guess they're right. I guess they're true, right? This disproves everything else. I don't
even, and they don't even disprove anything. That's the thing, is they're
right.
They're almost the same thing, because I've listened to a lot of the Book of Joshua, all that stuff.
I've got all those books on my shelf, right? And but you just turn to the credit pages and look who's behind it. I mean, some of it's pretty obvious. Literally, the Nag Hammadi scriptures are funded by the Rockefeller Foundation.
Jesus.
So, I mean, what would be their? I mean, they're looking to disprove Christianity as what the purpose of that is, right?
See,
I don't know.
That's where this whole alternative community has some weight for me, is because there are nefarious groups that do seem to have a lot of power, and it can be traced back to basically just like a monetary thing. Like for me, it's around the beginning of the 20th century is kind of like where I see it potentially starting. But they were
13 or what?
at least in the current era, because I feel like they may have had other times where they were trying to do different things in different areas. It's possible, but
are you talking about like the Federal Reserve or what?
Yeah, like the Federal Reserve, and I guess the actual creation. Like if we're talking about America, for example, the actual creation of America, of Washington D.C. in like 1871, and then the whole like creation of the United States in general is sketchy. I don't know if you guys know the story behind how Washington was like elected president and stuff like that, but it's just incredibly sketchy. Because
there's actually been some really good videos in the past couple of days that came out about the election of Washington that are
nice.
Pretty interesting. Yeah, a couple history channels that I follow. Yeah, it's the election of George Washington is very strange, very strange. And of course, a lot of us know that like there were presidents before that, right? Like, because there's no constitution in 7076, right? It's not till 7080s, right? And the reason that they formed the Constitution is to protect the government, because all the people that fought in the Revolutionary War didn't get paid. And then all these dudes get really pissed that they didn't get paid for what they did during the war. And there's all these regulations. So there's Shays Rebellion and then the Whiskey Rebellion. So George Washington himself, after the Revolutionary War, leads an army against citizens of supposedly the country that we just freed. He leads an army of people to fight off people that are protesting attacks on whiskey, because at the time people are getting paid in whiskey, which also doesn't make sense. Like, how the fuck were people getting paid in whiskey? Okay,
you'd love it, dude.
Well,
You'd love it.
I'd love like
the thing
sign
that-
me up. How does that work out? But
The thing that's interesting to me about the foundation of the United States is that it's kind of similar to the communist revolution in some way. Because in the communist revolution, you had the Communist Party promising people that they will be able to practice their religion freely, they'll be able to live their lives the same way they were beforehand, blah, blah, blah. In the foundation of the United States of America, you had the Federalist and the Anti-Federalist, right? So the Federalists wanted the Constitution of the United States of America. The Anti-Federalists wanted the United States to remain the way it was, which is basically like its own independent countries for each state. Some states had agreements.
13. It was originally it's 13 different countries.
Yeah,
in
exactly.
in a union. Well, a confederacy, really.
The sketchiest thing about that entire situation, though, is that the Federalists, the people who wanted the Constitution, they did some sketchy shit where they were accusing the Anti-Federalist of wanting to rig the election against their plans.
Same grift today.
But this is the thing. They're the ones talking about it. They're like, oh, we're so scared they're going to do it. But when the election results came out, it ended up being they're the only ones who collaborated and caused the scheme against it. All the Anti-Federalists just voted normally, like they served the people they represent, so they were doing the right thing. But the thing about the Federalists, the reason I was making the connection with communism is that they also promised the Anti-Federalists that they would still have those same rights beforehand, but they, on the written documents that you can read from like the journals of these people, they talk about, oh yeah, we're not going to do that. You know what I mean? Like, so it's like they still do this shit to this day.
Well, it's the same thing even with the Federal Reserve System. Like, they sold the way they pushed it to the public was that all the big bankers hated this idea of a central bank. And then so if all the big bankers hate the idea of a central bank, that means that we should support the idea as citizens should support the idea of a central bank. And they were able to pass it. And then we realized, like, okay, well, this fucks us. It doesn't fuck them, you know? And then it ties in a whole idea of supposedly they sunk the fucking Titanic to pass the Federal Reserve. Like, that's ridiculous to me. Like, you're not going to take out 2 or 3 guys and then like be able. That's not how that works.
They did have a lot of money, so I don't know for sure, but it is a ridiculous story. But I will say that it's my opinion that we need to make it common knowledge if it already isn't. That
the American Bald Guy says that George Washington was Adam Weishaupt. That's interesting because actually George Washington was very critical of Weishaupt.
King George, it's the same guy.
That would be more. Yeah, but George Washington did read Robertson and Barwell's memoirs on the French Revolution. He was very suspect of Weishaupt's Illuminati, as well as he was very suspect of a lot of the Freemasonic groups, and they actually kind of take him against his will and make George Washington a god. And this is all part of my Apotheosis Now theory that maybe eventually I'll make videos about it eventually, but it's in my IG page. But the whole idea that Washington becomes a god ties into Indiana.
Yeah, if you don't start making videos, EBT, like I'm gonna start getting pissed off.
Hold on,
you need to start using my brain, bro.
Shem, you were about to say something that was like, you said you want to make some common knowledge if it's not already. What were you saying?
So basically, the Federal Reserve. Okay, the situation. I'm sure this is probably something everyone already knows, but I'm just gonna say it. Every dollar they create, there's interest on it, so it's impossible for us to get out of debt. It's literally impossible. There's no way for us to ever pay our debt off if the Federal Reserve exists. It's literally, there's zero chance. The only president in U.S. history to ever get rid of the United States debt was Andrew Jackson. And how did he do that? He got rid of the centralized banking system, and they hated him. They tried to assassinate him because he was talking about it before. His assassination attempt happened before the actual passing of the law, but he was talking about it publicly, so they tried to kill him. Conspiracy theory, blah, blah, blah. But he's the only president to balance the budget. He got rid of the centralized bank. I know that there are arguments that having a centralized bank is a good thing, but it's literally, to me, it seems like it's more of a mafia type situation. And it's unbelievable that people don't understand that we can never pay off our debt ever.
Yeah, and that to me, what this whole conspiracy has become, a Tartarian, all these fantastical sci-fi fantasy type shit, is to get away from the shit you can prove, like the Federal Reserve. Like that's where it was before. It was focused on books talking about Federal Reserve and the Fourth Reich and things like that, and now it's just gone into fantasy.
The Christian Reich.
Yeah.
Well, but that Christian Right's another thing, because that's not even Jason acts like that's his theory, but I mean that's like a very mainstream take on like they talk about that shit on Fox News and stuff, like, and it's not like it's unique to Jason talking about it. But like I'd like to say, even like on the idea of the Federal Reserve and all that, creates a lot of different breakoff groups too that get into weird territory where they're talking about the people that are talking about returning to a gold standard or something, or the gold standard was never even really used, but for a very short period of time. And like, it's not like things were great when we were on a gold standard either. Like it's not like we're just going to get rid of fiat currency and then somehow things are going to be perfect after we get rid of that fiat currency. Or even just like going so hard. And I know I've talked about this before and people have hated on me, but, and usury is bad, condemned by God, right? But
don't go there.
But you got to make distinctions on
I stand by that.
You got to make distinctions on what usury. There has to be nuance in what usury is. But I mean, like, I don't think you'll ever get away from there being some kind of.
Well, it has to be voluntarism.
It's voluntary, right? But that's right. But it can't be excessively beneficial to the lending party, even if it's voluntary, right? But
say for example, we keep the system we have right now. Like if they would just stop extorting so much cash from people and spending money on so much pointless bullshit, then it would at least be like 75% better. It wouldn't be
that goes back to this fucking balloon. We probably spent millions, whether it's fake or not, right? Even if they just staged it, sending an F-22 Raptor up into the sky to go shoot down a damn balloon, that cost several $1 million today. Okay, to do that.
If there wasn't a black pilot doing it.
Okay, that one fucking missile costs like $1 million. Like, it's stupid. We send a cruise missile to a little tent in Afghanistan, and that costs like $500,000 or something. Like one fucking Hellfire rocket or some shit. Like, if we didn't engage in this ridiculous world policing, it'd probably be an amazing. It'd be almost a utopia, and I don't believe in utopias, but I'm just saying maybe they take less out of my paycheck, right? Yeah. Because what is my paycheck paying for anyways? And that's your taxes don't pay. Your taxes don't directly pay for anything. Your taxes go into an account, and the interest on that account is what's used to pay stuff, right? So they got money. They got money.
All right,
don't act like there's no budget deficit.
What's up, David?
Before we get too far away from Andrew Jackson, as I live in Jacksonville, and it's named after Andrew Jackson, and that's on the manholes right there, and that little logo, whatever. I think it's the counties. It looks like just like Trump's fucking head, dude.
Just like it.
I wonder if Trump is like the modern day Andrew Jackson.
No, okay, yeah, he is. He is.
As far as the storyline, and he'll be the one to come out, and he will be the guy to go after the Federal Reserve and all that. In the story, I don't think it's like legitimate.
Well, that's the interesting connection between that is that when Trump was first around, people were calling him the Lion, and Andrew Jackson is also known as the Lion. So there was like this like media push or something for that at some point. I don't think it's
there's a bunch of connections.
And he's in Florida. There'll be like some home base for him in Jacksonville, I bet. But also, I just was looking into the Chinese New Year's or whatever it's called. Like this year is, I think, the year of the rabbit, but then 2024 is the year of the dragon. So wasn't that the big thing they were calling Trump the dragon or something like that?
And then arcade sky dragons.
2024 is the dragon, and I think that was the connection between Kanye and Trump. They were both talking about their dragon
energy, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right? And then 2025 2005 is the year of the snake. So Trump's always doing that damn snake poem.
In Ohio, he's doing it in Ohio, the home of the Serpent Mound, with the only state that has the serpent tongue flag.
Mm-hmm. It's going down, bro.
Going down.
We'll see what happens.
Nobody can stop what's coming. White hats are in control. 2 more weeks, guys. Yeah, 2 more weeks.
It's real, but I think it's a storyline they're going to play out. So I hate that.
No, Shem, do you know Jurassic Liars 26?
Oh, man. You just found a new gold mine.
Oh, man.
JL's my guy. I can't go at JL.
Oh, man.
So he has this theory that Trump and Elvis are somehow like, not necessarily like biological twins, but that they're like similar spirits or something like that. And because Elvis had a twin that died at birth, and he's saying like Trump plays the role of that dead twin or whatever. And then his whole theory, though, is that Elvis will somehow appear out of the Space Needle when there's a catastrophe in Seattle, and then it has to do with Trump's head. Trump will get a head wound.
What? And me and Drew even did a show where I made a whole presentation about how Elvis connects to Indianapolis and connects with Seattle and connects with the fact. The Elvis connections are unreal.
Shout out to Jurassic Liars 26.
It really is a meta level kind of thing.
Nuts, like, bro, he's got like millions of. Dude. So it's not like Jason with millions of different things he ties into one. It's one very specific thing with 2 things happening on 2 dates, and he has millions of connections based on just these couple.
And then, what I'm saying, like, I can come from an outsider and tie in a whole bunch of crazy shit just off that one thing. Jason's shit, like, you can't tie anything else into it. It's based on one date that somebody said happened in one particular part of his. You don't even know how that date's even accurate. And that's why, going back to what I'm saying, we really do need to do that Phoenix challenge, because I really do think that we can really thoroughly give a good pushback to it, to where we can say that your theory doesn't really hold water, because there's no way to know whether or not these dates are accurate or not, just based on chronology. And this is what I go back to when I was talking about Fomenko, is because there's no way to know, based on all the calendar changes, based on how these people use calendars back in the day, there's no direct metric to be able to translate these dates to get an accurate date. And his whole theory relies on accurate dating, right? Like he says by the number, like by the actual day.
Yeah.
He says that in the actual day in 2046, the Nemesis, November 1st, November 2nd, the Nemesis X object is going to be here. Okay. There's no possible way that you're able to calculate that with any kind of accuracy based on historical narrative. It's just not a possibility.
Yeah, I don't.
It's not data.
While we're still talking about Jason, is Shem, are you working on a Tartarian Truth documentary? Is that a real thing? Or I'm sorry, an archaic documentary.
It's very early on, because I'm not sure the format. I was going to ask you guys if you wanted to do like some interviews for it or something.
Oh yeah, I got a lot of information about this motherfucker.
But my other collaborator,
Let me show this. Whoops! Oh, I fucked it up. Hold on 1 second.
Okay, full. Can I make a full disclosure real quick while you're pulling it up? So the first time that Shem, you did a live and you titled it like toxic. What do you title your thing? Toxic gossip.
Toxic acid drama stream.
I thought you were talking about like me and Drew. I thought you were gonna come. I thought we had pissed you off or something. And you hated us.
Dude, that was about stuff. I saw those comments you guys made in the live. I was like, huh? But it was like that was about Stuff Beagle, because at the time.
No, we were being totally narcissistic.
Motherfuckers making fun of us, man. We're like, you don't want the smoke, man.
Yeah, I was like, damn, these guys are mad at me. I was like, I don't know what to do. Like, I was like, I'll just keep doing what I'm doing.
Yeah, that was a big ego. That was a big ego check for us. I think.
I was in a Stuff Beagle stream, and he had like the comment up on the screen for like 2 hours, and I was like, dude, this guy doesn't even look at his chat. He has like 10 people in here.
Yeah, because I was all like, look, the image is Catholic. Like, that's the Virgin Mary. Like, it's like, this guy's making this shit about us or something. Like,
Conspiracy theories.
Okay, Shem, this is the guy. Guy's name is Paul Tice. So this is the guy that published Archaic's books when he was in
oh, yeah.
prison.
And he's okay. So, in case anybody doesn't notice, but you guys haven't seen it, so he's planning one of the first Archaic's van vlog he's going to the publisher's bookstore.
And the bookstore is called, what is it called again? No, I forget. I have it
Dude,
all.
This is the publisher for what's his fuck?
The other guy that's just like him. What's his name? The fucking
Manly P. Hall's assistant.
he steals all the fucking shit from that he discredits now.
Fuck.
What's his name,
Jordan Maxwell. Jordan Maxwell. This
Also,
guy is the same publisher of Jordan Maxwell.
Jordan Maxwell. He publishes. What's the other guy though? That Zachariah Sitchin.
He works for Zachariah Sitchin, and Arcade goes against Zachariah. Yeah.
This guy was the videographer for Sitchin, and this guy published Sitchin shit, and he has a book called I can't remember it off the top of my head. It's in San Diego. There's a metaphysical bookshop that he owns. Maybe it says on this video thing.
This guy's like this stock Theosophical Society like talking guy, right? Like I go to some like conferences at because the Theosophical Society headquarters is here in just a couple miles north of me. They're like, this is the general guy that's there talking about shit all the time.
I have a lot of information on Archaics if you did want to make a documentary.
Yeah,
I have those same statues.
I'm trying to find the name. I can't remember.
That's the whole thing. Is like, how did this guy even get in contact with Archaic? How did he find out he's in prison?
Well, and this is the guy that's sending him the books.
Yeah,
allegedly in prison. Okay, and then so I don't know. I can't confirm it, but I know now if you're in a maximum security prison in Texas, you can't receive old books. Okay, you can only get books that are ordered directly off of like Amazon. They have to be new print books. Somebody cannot send you old printed books in the prison, Texas prison system. It's not possible.
Okay, it's called the Book Tree. That's the name of his bookstore. The Book Tree in San Diego. This is it right here. This picture.
This is mobile van vlog. Yeah, it's on there.
Somehow I'm like.
Well, it's saying Paul Tice book.
Yeah, I mean, look right there.
Yeah, hold
Theosophical Society on that book cover right there. The Light of Egypt.
No, I got it on there. That's the bookstore in San Diego. So this guy is the guy that somehow connected with Jason while he was in prison. So basically, anything that happens when he's on the outside, this Paul Tice guy is responsible. That's what I'm gonna say. Look at it. It looks just like, it smells like patchouli in here.
Oh yeah, 100. Look, alien.
He's got a
head up there.
He's gonna do a video inside this. Can you?
Is that what
he's doing? Gonna do a video from inside there and go through all the books and stuff. And I think the guy fronted him a bunch of the books that they're gonna sell at the convention, and then have Jason sign.
Look at this nice single stitch shirt right here. This is probably worth some money. I don't know who that is, but let's see if I can.
Yeah, that kind of looks like linen or something.
Let's see if I can get a better look at that shirt. Single stitch though. Paper tag. That's some money. Yeah, look at this. Looks like where's the crystals? I'm sure there's like a little crystal section.
Oh, there's a whole crystal section, I guarantee.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the Robert Seifer video with Jason, Robert Seifer and John Levy.
John Levy.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's weird that this little podunk shop somehow is the publisher behind big names, even like Jordan Maxwell. Right? Jordan Maxwell is a powerhouse. Right.
They're like indie. They're like indie things though. It's kind of similar to music. They find people that they're passionate about and they kind of push them, and then
early on, right? Yeah, hook up. That's what I'm saying. Like, if I can't wait till the time where you can buy like stock in a YouTube channel early on, like and like speculate on the growth. Like, we should have bought Archaic's channel stock months ago, and we'd
Hey,
be.
y'all can buy
he
stock in
needs
this
some new
channel. Send them
management
super
though.
chats right now.
He needs new management. Yeah,
stock.
somebody needs to tell him to get rid of the Foghorn Leghorn saga. I want to know about Orpheus. I don't give a fuck about Foghorn Leghorn saga. You make a channel about Orpheus. You got a computer system that predicts the future? That's what the fuck I want to know about, dude. What the fuck are you talking about? Fucking fairies and fucking shit, dude. You can predict the future with a goddamn computer software system.
He never
That's
mentions
what we
it.
want to know. That's what we want to know about, dude. I don't give
He
a fuck
never
about
talks about
fairies.
it.
I don't give a fuck about fairies.
Hey.
I want to know about your computer system.
We got to find out if there's like underground tunnels under this building or something. Are they like, look at PED right here in front of the store? It says PED, PED.
Yeah, bro.
Bro.
There's probably spirals. There's probably spirals or something somewhere around there.
Oh,
yeah, look, bike wheel spiral. Yeah, there you go.
Right there,
there's right there.
Right across the street.
Lotus. Yep, there you go. God. Bam.
The
theater. Yep. So he's gonna go there. He's gonna go there on the first Archaics break free or die trying. Break free or die trying van tour.
This is where the victims go behind this cage.
Right behind the cage. Right. Yeah.
Oh
my God.
That's coming in hot. Shout out Ben. Be smiley.
Yeah, shout out to the chat. Oh, Benton, appreciate you. Be smiley. You guys are buying stock in the future of the channel. Exactly. Appreciate you guys, man.
That is a thing. That is a thing that's being talked about being able to buy shares in YouTube channels.
Talking about that?
It's like it's a topic in the ether. In the zeitgeist.
Yeah, I don't know about all that.
There's a restaurant right across the street from that book tree that's called the Rabbit Hole.
Oh, really? Seriously?
Yeah. Somebody's asking where it is here. It's in Normal Heights. I don't know anything about San Diego, so it's in Normal Heights off of 805 and what is this? Adams Avenue.
Yeah, I mean, if Archaics would just compile his work into videos and have professional editing done to like the information, I'm sure that his subscribers would be great.
Okay, well, so here, this was the other thing they talked about in that video today. Like Matt was like, I could do so much more with this channel. Like I could make it like so much artistic and like all graphics and all this stuff. He's like, Jason doesn't want me to do any of this. Jason wants to keep it very simple. He doesn't want anything fancy.
Well, he did spell that word wrong at the beginning of the video, so can you kind of blame him? I feel like it's with like I don't know for sure, obviously, but I feel like the relationship with Matt and Jason was like since they had that connection with Prison or something, they thought it was going to work out, and then obviously,
it's gonna end so bad. You just know it's gonna end so bad. The guy moved literally to Jason's backyard to do this shit, and built a studio in his own house for this. It's gonna end so bad.
It is, and he said like, I have the passwords. I'm gonna delete the videos and stuff.
I remember him saying that, man. And Arcade said it wouldn't be the first time. I'm gonna delete everything on you, dude.
Yeah, he has a YouTube channel. I'm curious. Like, is he gonna start his own videos or?
This dude's gonna be on
chakras and shit, dude.
I'm about the vibration. If you want to know about the vibrations and the frequencies, man, you come to me. Okay, that's what. Yeah, Jason doesn't want me to talk about these things. Yeah.
Did you see
his playlist sucked too? Like we looked at his channel.
And then what was the one? The only video on Archaic's channel is fucking Tom McDonald, like on his that channel thing.
Some like hip hop playlist. I don't know. Like it was weird because I was telling my dad about Archaics actually. And it was funny. It was funny as fuck because he was like laughing about it, and then suddenly, my dad brought up Tom McDonald. I was like, holy shit! I was like, that's the guy that like this guy likes. I was like,
the boomers
love
that guy.
Yeah, they're both
of age as Archaics. So I was like,
both of them on one of the recent streams were like, yeah. Matt's like, yeah. When I'm just like jamming out, I put him on my speakers. I got this huge speaker system out here, like Tom McDonald.
Yeah, man.
And Matt's like, yeah, I listen to him when I'm in my wood shop. When I'm in my wood shop, working with my hands.
What is he doing in there? He never like shows anything or talks about it.
I
It's so
can't wait. I
cluttered in there
really
now.
cannot wait for the Archaics movie. Like
Yes.
I'm just like dying to see what they're doing
He promised he was going to go hard in January, and then he didn't.
because the Archaics movie. That's what he said.
Where's
He
the
said,
fucking movie, Jason?
I haven't heard him mention it. ever
Shem,
since
you
that
need
one
to
video.
time the Archaics documentary at the same time as the Archaics
"Yeah, oh
movie.
yeah, that's what I'm
So that
saying.
when
Yeah, it's
people
got to be at
type
the
in
same time."
Archaics movie, they think they're getting the fucking documentary, and they come to your channel.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I'm not
gotta
going to
have
be completely unbiased towards him, obviously, but it's going to be.
Fuck 'em.
an
Shem, where do you
in-depth-
what part of the country do you live at?
I'm in the heartland.
Okay,
If you want
okay,
to know the state, I'll just give it to you. Fuck it. I'm in Ohio.
okay, cool. He's in the surface state. Okay, all right, we get it. All right.
So that's where all
Everybody in the chat, pay for us three to go to the Arcades convention,
It would be
please,
pretty fucking funny. Dude.
please,
You guys want content? That shit would-
please.
We need an anonymous benefactor.
There's only 25. There's only 25 seats remaining. We need to go. I mean, I'll pay for them to go. Like, we gotta go to this. We gotta do this.
EBT, you're the big baller of the group. You just drive down, pick up Shem on the way, and I'll meet you guys over there.
Let's get it.
I mean, I'm not even joking. Like, I'm 100%. I want to fly there, but if I have to drive, I will drive. But I rather fly there.
You need like a little commuter car.
I'll buy 3 tickets tonight. Secure our seats,
Holy shit.
and we'll just have to go. I don't.
We already revealed the plan, though. They're gonna be.
Drew doesn't.
Hating.
Okay. We'll wear disguises. We'll get the silicone mask from the stream that you and Davey did. Okay.
We can just stand outside on the sidewalk and like live stream.
I just think it's hilarious that it's on April 1st and it's in a stockade.
Can't make it up.
You can't make that. Yeah, I mean, come on, people.
Yeah, who knows like what the origin behind it is? Because the moderator situation, there have to be some people involved in it that aren't necessarily completely on board. That's my thought process.
There's the one lady that's the main person that put it together. She's the one that what the fuck was her screen name? I can't remember, but I showed her on here before. The most batshit crazy thing where her and my wife were arguing in the comments, and this lady that set up that Archaics meeting, she was the main catalyst of it. She was like, yeah, you're not an active rapist as soon as you're done raping. If you're not raping anymore, you're not a rapist. So as soon as you stop raping, the moment you pull your thing out, you're no longer that accused of that or whatever. I actually have that thing saved. I can get her name. I can't remember what the hell her name is.
Well, and we'd been talking about that for a while too, where we thought that like there's going to be a schism with like Phoenix.
Oh, Phoenix Protocol.
Phoenix Protocol, and I think more likely it's Soul Luckman. Soul Luckman is trying to make a
Soul
schism.
Luckman's trying to like add shit in and take shit out. He's gonna get excommunicated.
I think so, yeah.
He's trying to do his own thing.
Jason was hinting at the idea that he would accept some of Saul's shit in the stream I was looking to the other day. I thought it was
Shem, have you looked at Soul Luckman's art, like his art gallery?
I've only seen the profile picture.
Some Coomer shit.
Some serious Coomer shit. Yeah, it's all like, yeah, it's messed up.
Yeah, a lot of, I don't know. I didn't know what exactly he was or what he was doing, that Saul guy.
He's just,
I wonder if he'll show up.
I kind of did a little bit of a dive on him. I didn't go too deep, but he's been at this like grifting this spirituality shit for years and years and years. And he has this shit called like the Phoenix from fucking years ago, like
from years ago, yeah.
Like that. And then so now his new grift is just kind of attached to Archaics and like formulate a book or an ebook or whatever for. He had like that Jeff Foxworthy thing, like you might be an errant if or whatever that fucking book, whatever that video he put out was.
Wow. Yeah, the whole errant thing is funny too, because
and I mean, and that today he talked about in that stream today, he talked about how they're creating their own language, their own words, and like errant and simulacrum and all this stuff, like that's like cult 101 is having your own language that only you guys speak.
Well,
like,
let's entertain the idea for a second that he is really from like this prison to pipeline thing you're talking about, and he's like some sort of agent. It does make sense for the way that he presents his information if you think about the other things we were talking about earlier in the stream. Like all these sources giving out that no one can really look into. Like even with Fomenko's work, when I was bringing up that document earlier, the numbers for the bibliography go up to like the thousands. So like you'll have a sentence and it'll say like 237 or like 1115, or like it would just give you this random source for like a book to go find. And if you look at the book, it's like 600 pages, or if you can even find it, like EBT was saying this earlier. So it's like, are there multiple different distractions created to do this? Like, is Archaics another version of Fomenko, just a modern YouTube version? Like, obviously that's insane, but it's something that I guess
also
to think
it's
about.
not.
Yeah, it's like,
Because I mean, Fomenko inspired like this whole huge movement, and like nobody's ever even read it. Is what the problem is. But they.
oh yeah, that's why I keep telling you, like, make videos, because these people who talk about Fomenko's work, or at least the ones that I've listened to, it seems like they either watch someone else's video when they're talking about it and they're just sharing that information, or maybe they just read the beginning of the book and that was it.
Yeah, and that's why I like that. Even though, like, I think that Jonathan McTimes guy is like really kind of kooky. He has some really kind of out there weird. And he's another. He came from prison too. There was another. He was in prison. He's another prisoner YouTube pipeline. That guy, that Jonathan McTime guy. But then he has that whole idea of that Aubrey, which I think is kind of interesting at the same time. But like, I think when people start, and I know that British guy in that video that you're in the other day started talking about that. How do we know, like, maybe Jerusalem is actually somewhere else and all that stuff? Like, that's a good idea, but when you really look at it as a whole, then like there's so much that you need to change to make that a reality, that like there's no way you're going to make that theory actually value uh I can't think of the word I'm trying to say right now.
I guess the
You have
interesting
to
thing
change so much stuff in the Bible to make that theory work. It works if you take out some stuff, like, okay, Luke got some bit of geography wrong or something, and then you're able to connect that with something else. But like for the most part, it seems like, yeah, the Bible did come from that part of the world. Is
the interesting thing about that entire "this was over here, this was over there" was in these different places, to me, is that they do use the same city names in a lot of these places. But for example, people have this theory that Egypt was in America, and even like Greece and Rome and everything like that. So
oh yeah.
so basically what I'm looking for to try to either discredit that or prove it would be the measurements in a historical source of the distance between a place like Rome and a place like Cairo, Egypt, because people make that argument all the time. Oh, Cairo, Illinois was Cairo, Egypt. Okay,
Right.
So if that were to be true, then we should be able to go to Rome, Maryland, which would be the alternative version of Rome in America, and have that same distance from Rome, Maryland to Cairo, Egypt be talked about in some historical text to be able to prove
Well,
that.
and there's a Rome, Indiana. It just so happens
exactly. They're
in
everywhere.
Rome, Indiana was the location of the first Marian apparition in North America as well, too. So the first time that there's a Marian apparition is in Rome, Indiana.
And the argument can be made that they do this on purpose to dilute research. Or I have another theory that I've been working on that's just completely fucking schizo that I'm not ready to even share right now, but it has something to do with the connection.
2023, make conspiracy schizo again.
It will be schizo if I can put it into words better. I will. Shit. But anyway, so the one thing with the Rome, Maryland thing that gives it a little bit of weight, though, that I discovered the other day when I was going down the river, because they do have something in Washington D.C. which is Rome, Maryland. It was called that until 1871, and they have the Tiber Creek there, which is what used to be the Tiber River, which is the same thing you have in Rome, Italy, Tiber, for some fucking reason. Like, it's just so stupid and weird. But they buried this river underground now. But if you follow the river out to the point where we're getting to here is, if you go on Google Earth and you follow the river out, there's like a connection between two states before you get into the Atlantic Ocean that could be considered the Pillars of Hercules. So I randomly saw this the other day. I was like, holy shit, that's kind of weird. But at the same time, like, I don't believe it's true. I'm just saying, like, damn, it's weird how they have all these connections, because if you think of the story of like Plato's Timaeus and stuff like that, they left the Pillars of Hercules to go to Atlantis. It still lines up coming from Washington, D.C., because Atlantis would be right outside of those pillars that I'm talking about. So it's like you have these weird connections all over the globe. It's just like, this is strange. It's schizo and weird, but it's just why is it the same? Why?
Right.
You know what I mean?
So the first video that I'm working on right now in my series, eventually ever I'll release, but the first part of it is about the location of the tree of knowledge of good and evil, which I believe is in Indianapolis. Which is funny that you mentioned the rivers that are turned to be underground rivers. That's a huge part of the theory as well. And that happens really in a lot of these cities across the Midwest, is where they take these rivers and they make them subterranean rivers. And it ties into like a Babylonian, it has to do with like the grid system that Jefferson sets up. Jefferson sets up the 6x6 sun squared grid system throughout the whole country. And then it that all ties in with the whole theory. I
You talk
don't
a
want to
lot
give
about
out.
this theory, but you got no videos on it, man.
It's all.
Yeah.
It's. I've been talking about it for years on my Instagram. Like
Do you
anybody
have
that wants to
the
connect the
videos
dots,
recorded? Are they all
I,
recorded?
they are. I'm working on
Okay,
them.
just send me the shit and I'll edit it, and then
Okay, maybe I should. Maybe I should.
just send the check. Check.
But I mean, I know people like Stephen David used to live in Indianapolis, and that's how he found me. Was when I was making videos about Indianapolis. He knows I've been talking about this for a long time. But see, I think like with Egypt, right? So this part of the theory is that like I think that like in Egypt there is a female and a male capital, right? There's always two capitals of Egypt, right? And I think that that's part of what the way that the structure of America was set up, that there's a male capital, which is DC, and there's a female capital, which is Indianapolis. And it has to do with the apotheosis process. And this is why in the Capitol building and the dome is the apotheosis of Washington. And then in the Indianapolis state capitol is the apotheosis of Indiana. Um, and it's a process through where the sun is making its sine wave throughout its equinox.
Sounds incredibly interesting. I don't know anything about it, so I can't really comment on it. But I would love to hear it. So please fucking do it.
That's why I've been trying to. I'm trying to do it. Maybe one day I will, but I'm working. I've the first video. I've got 40 minutes of it already done, but there's
or just recorded. You mean
edited like it's ready to go. There's just got to be another. There's got to be another part to it, but maybe I'll just drop what I have already and just go with it. And that's what I've been thinking. I got to do it in piecemeals because it's so big of a theory. And like I learned it from this random schizo guy that my crazy schizo sister shared to me. And I was like, oh, well, this is crazy. But it was like, I live here, so I might as well look in it. And it had to do with Tecumseh. And then I grew up in my teen years in Indiana, and I knew who Tecumseh was. And like I had associated with Tecumseh. And I'd always gone to the Feast of the Hunter's Moon. That is at the location where Tecumseh's village was. Like I'd always associated with this figure, Tecumseh. And then I learned this crazy conspiracy theory about it. And I was like, oh, and then this man's kind of like archaic where he can just drop so much information in a gish gallop where you can take like 20 minutes of a video and you can spend literally like months like breaking down just what he's claiming in that 20 minutes or so. And the what's great about this guy that I found is that the more I look into it, the more I find that he didn't find yet. And the more I'm able to verify the stuff he was talking about and stuff like anyways.
Yeah. Cool.
Preview for the
make sure you subscribe preview for the never gonna happen probably.
Listen, dude.
So hashtag apotheosis now. Hashtag there's more than corn in Indiana. Hashtag Circle City. Hashtag Magic Circle. Hashtag Magic Squares. Yeah. Yeah. My old IG stuff. This is all my old IG stuff. Okay.
I'll hold them for ransom when I'm done. I'll say, okay.
I told you, if you can $20 a week, Drew, $20 a week.
$20 a week. Damn.
$20 a week. All right.
Pretty generous.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, the only thing I know about Indianapolis is just that there's a lot of those major highways that connect in the like right where that circle is in the city with the statue of the veteran.
Well, yeah. Based about, right?
Yeah. Well, and Indianapolis was the first like railroad hub. It was like the first Union Station. Like
the TV Farnsworth.
The TV comes out of Indiana. Yeah.
Drew, where do you fit into the alternative schizo history? Give us a brief summary of something you think about it.
Oh, I'm over it all now, man. I've been looking into it now for so long and so many years now. I'm like you. I'm just laughing at it now.
Yeah, it's
But
hilarious.
I do believe, that doesn't mean I believe in all the mainstream bullshit, but I think a lot of shit's just meant to be a mystery. And I would say all the conspiracy shit just kind of led me to that. You hear people say like everything is a conspiracy to cover up Christ. I would say that's kind of where it led me, but I don't really like go on like preaching that or anything like that. But when I look at it kind of from that perspective, it's one of the only things that makes sense to me.
Yeah.
So,
So
like,
Michael A. asked a great question. He says, "Do I think Indianapolis is Eden?" I think that the monument circle Indianapolis is the tree within the garden. Yes, that's part of the
interesting.
theory.
What do you think about Dr. Long? Have you heard of Dr. Longo from Old War Florida's theory of Eden being in Florida?
No, I haven't heard that one.
So basically, I don't know all the details, but I'll just give you like the briefest summary best I can. Is like the Mississippi River basically has the only known river in the world that has the four heads going out, like they describe for the Garden of Eden or something like
Right.
that. So that's one of his main pieces of evidence. And he also talks about the overwhelming amount of fresh springs in Florida that I guess would be the only place that'd be sustainable for the environment described. It's interesting, but I mean, it's obviously very hard to prove.
I'm in Florida. It's not.
Well, part of the theory with the tree of knowledge of good and evil ties in. It ties in with Ohio with the serpent mound because the serpent dwells within the garden, right? So that's why the serpent is within what would have been known as the Northwest Territory. So that would have included Indiana, Michigan, Wisconsin, Ohio. That
Hey,
whole
you know
area.
who kind of ties into this though too is Susquehanna Alchemy channel. Shout
Oh,
out,
100%, 100%.
shout out to
He was one of the
Susquehanna,
top
bro.
geomancy. Like he's on, and Christopher Knowles. Really, the top guy is Christopher Knowles. In
I
this
never
whole
heard of it. It sounds
concept.
interesting though. I like the story of the Susquehannock was interesting to me. I don't know it that well, but I've heard it was basically like some people say that when the colonizers came to America, they used the Susquehannock to help build all of the cities and the foundations of the cities and the roadways and stuff like that. And then later on, I guess they gave the 5 civilized tribes guns to defeat the Susquehannock when they were done with them. I don't know how true that is. I haven't actually looked into it too much, but this is secondhand information. But I always thought that was interesting.
No, he's super on point with the geomancy that I think that from stuff that I've uncovered and looked at and stuff like that.
A lot of it has to do with Scranton. Scranton, Pennsylvania is fucking huge.
You're talking about
so much. You got to like go through his videos. It's like so much shit. They're deep.
Yeah, he's on to some of the stuff that I think. There's another. There's that black guy too that he used to
the
do
guy
stuff.
that he does the videos with.
Yeah, that does a lot about the mounds.
Yeah, what's his name, man?
Can't remember his name. Yeah, so the mounds play a huge part into the whole theory too.
Let me ask you about the Tecumseh situation though. Didn't he have? I might be wrong, but didn't he have a brother that they called the Prophet?
Yeah. So his brother, his name is really hard to say, but yeah, his brother was known as the Prophet, and then Tenswatkata. Can't say it right now, but yeah. So they start the city in Indianapolis, in Lafayette, Indiana, that became known as Prophetstown. And then his brother is the one that predicts like the earthquake of 1811 and technically Tecumseh predicts the earthquake of 1811, 1812. But William Henry Harrison is the guy that's leading the army that's coming in to the Northwest Territory to annihilate the Indians. And Jefferson's writing to Harrison about annihilating the Indians and how they're going to do all this stuff. Roz Ben, that's the other guy, yeah. Roz Ben,
his name.
Roz Ben.
Yeah.
Tecumseh's brother becomes the head of the spiritual movement that becomes the Indian Confederacy that fights against the United States. But they get tied in So they fight for the French for a little bit. They fight for the British for a little bit. In the end, they try to fight against this Freemasonic army that's led by um, William Henry Harrison, called the Long Knives. And so a curse is put against William Henry Harrison by Tecumseh's brother, saying that if Tecumseh's killed, that every great chief elected in this country, so every president elected in this country in a 0 year will die in office. This is what becomes the curse of Tecumseh, or the curse of Tippecanoe. But it has to do with all these other prophecies that they're making that makes Tecumseh becomes this huge figure, so much so that they respect Tecumseh. His enemy, the enemy respects him. They actually, Indianapolis was going to be named Tecumseh, just for him, but it ended up being called the capital of the Indians, Indianapolis, because they considered Indianapolis to be the sacred capital. In the Confederacy that Tecumseh set up, it was kind of like the Axis Mundi, right? So like the center of their realm, the center of their existence, or whatever. And then so like William Henry Harrison becomes, after he becomes governor of Indiana, when Indiana becomes a state, he eventually becomes president, and he is the first president that ends up being succumbing to the curse of Tecumseh. So he dies in office like 32 days. 32 days, he gets pneumonia, he dies in office. And then so every president that's elected on a 00 year from there on dies in office all the way up until JFK. And then after JFK, it's Reagan, and then it's Bush Jr. And then so I've talked about this before, where I think that Reagan did actually die in office, but there's also this part. So Reagan's like fully aware of the curse of Tecumseh, so much so that he has an astrologer that like schedules his entire schedule. Like every day is based on astrology. So whatever he's going to do is based on astrological predictions.
Nancy had that, right? Nancy had that.
For Reagan.
Nancy had the deep throat sloppy toppy, they say, man.
Yeah, so they changed. So all the presidents used to be inaugurated the opposite way on the Capitol building. So the astrologer recommends to reverse the curse of Tecumseh, that he has to do the inauguration on the other side of the Capitol building, facing the obelisk. And then that this was at a certain date, they like postponed it and everything. And that was supposed to reverse the curse of Tecumseh. But then he gets shot. There's an assassination attempt on him. And I say that probably he really did die in office, and they replaced. I think Nancy Reagan and Ronald Reagan are the same person. Make conspiracy schizos again. But I'm saying like Reagan's replaced after he dies. He really does die in office.
Nancy and Ronald Reagan are
they're brothers and sisters, if not the same
Jack
person.
Van Impe and Rexella. That's who it is.
That's a joke. But yeah, no, I think there's a possibility that Reagan really did die after that assassination attempt.
It is possible because it could be the start of when this did, because a lot of people say they replace these people with, I see it all the time on social media, that they replace these people with clones or actors. Or
right. So
could have been
the next person in the cycle after Reagan was Bush. Bush had assassination attempts. The shoe, which Drew parodied in the video he made about it. But there was a grenade attack against him as well. But so after Bush Jr., the next person in the curse is Biden.
Oh, he's going down. There's going to be a volcano, and then Biden's going to die after that.
Well,
but it ties in like astrologically, because it has to do with the Saturn-Jupiter conjunction. So for that period of time,
real quick, that's what someone in the chat was like. Do curses know?
Damn, you guys are crazy.
Math. So we're talking about, though, that it would be like an astrological, somehow tied into an astrological event.
Yeah, so it's a Saturn-Jupiter conjunction that happens every 19 and a half to 20 years. So for the since William Henry Harrison all the way up to Joe Biden, it has happened within the aspect of certain astrological signs, and now it shifted in 2000 to start happening in a different set of astrological signs. So some people say that the curse ends with Biden.
Oh,
It'd be
he's going
interesting if it happens. It's also possible, since you said the last person, JFK, was assassinated. Outside of it, it's possible maybe the calendar was changed at some point, or it's been inaccurate since it was created, the current calendar we have, or something. Because that's what I was thinking. But
Well,
don't know.
and like it's what's crazy is that like this was even this was not like unknown when Reagan got elected, because people were like actually talking about this when Reagan got elected. Like he's the next one in the cycle of the curse. And so like people were like totally aware of it and everything. So it was not completely unknown. Um, but it is one of those really crazy things. Like I know that QOC always talks about the synchronicities between Lincoln and JFK. Well, Lincoln and JFK are both part of the curse of Tecumseh, because they both are subject to the 0 year curse. So they both die in office, and they're both elected in 00 years.
And they both were talking about potentially getting rid of the current financial institutions that we have, or
Yeah.
at least switching them up.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think Lincoln's a total tyrant, but
I agree.
Yeah.
Or at least if you think about the mainstream story of the Civil War, at least, because there's alternative theories about that as well. Obviously,
it's
there's alternative theories.
it's a complete federal takeover of the whole. That's the transition. That's when it happens. So I'm glad the Jesuits took out Lincoln, but I don't know if it fixed anything or not. But
the Jesuits. Yeah, we've been going off. We've been getting some pretty schizo shit coming out tonight.
That's good,
we're
man.
like that's what apparently that's what people like. I mean,
Yeah,
like, fuck.
let me go back to what Shem asked me what my belief is. I think I didn't really answer that.
I'm checking out. I gotta go pee and get a drink, so I'll be
go
out.
ahead.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Basically where I come down to it is that everything's planned. These characters you see on the world stage are all lifetime actors. That basically what I believe in is what you would call the actor-based reality theory. The world's a stage, and that everything is planned, and that's how you get the things like the Lincoln to Kennedy synchronicities. It's like you couldn't plan it unless you did. So if these things are all planned out hundreds of years in advance, or at least 100 years, maybe there's like a rough plan for a few hundred years, and then it's more detailed as the years come up. That's basically what I think. So for example, also like 9/11, I think it was built to be destroyed, and they knew the day before they built it. They knew the day they would bring it down. And then I have that one video on my channel about what is it called? The Value Jet Memorial in Florida. I even went down there. I need to make a new one of that, but how this memorial in Florida has 110 pillars like obelisks, and they're all like collapsing.
I'll bring that up. I don't think I've seen that.
I'll pull that up. That's like my bread and butter theory, and I need to go back to it again because I didn't have that many subscribers when I made that video. And let me just pull it up quick.
I can agree with you though, because I've also talked about in the past about how all the celebrities and stuff like that are designed to basically convince people to emulate their personalities around them almost, so it's easier to like identify and control them. So think of it this way: you have like a certain celebrity who dresses from like Hot Topic, for example. So the people 100%. Who designed that celebrity, they can now see how well that goes, because you can see all these people who are copying that celebrity going to Hot Topic and buying those clothes and stuff like that. And it also, like, the celebrities clearly give their opinions, and they have like their personalities and everything, and the people who look up to them tend to emulate this personality. So I can see where you're coming from, because I've thought about that before. I mean, it's pretty crazy. But
the one thing that I think people need to take it one further step of all these celebrities and the people like Will Smith, let's just use him for an example. His entire life that's presented to you as his real life is another layer of a character. He may or may not really be married to that woman, but all the drama that goes on with him and his kids and everything, none of it's real. It's just for tabloids and to make you normalize fighting with your kids and all that stuff.
Well, that's
But my main theory here is that in media, there is overlaid images that your brain is constantly dissecting and knows. So you guys got to go watch this video on my channel. Like, for example, this Christmas Vacation, when you see this box cover, you don't even know it, but subconsciously you do know it's actually what you're looking at is the Vitruvian Man right here.
wow.
He's electrified, just like the Griswold dude is electrified. So they told you forever, you looked at this image and they told you this is an all-time great piece of art, and then they come and show you this. They don't actively say it, but when you see that Christmas Vacation cover, you associate it with all-time great or something like that. That's how it works. So basically, I have tons of this stuff like in here with the Sephiroths and all that, Tree of Life. This one's crazy with the Randy Johnson pitch. You just got to go watch it. It's too much to talk about right now. EBT helped me on that one, but I got to redo all these. But then basically, there's this memorial for this airplane that crashed in 1996, and 3 years later, they put up a memorial of it in 1999. And so there's 110 obelisks. And when you go, they say this is the top view of it. Let me see the side view, if I can show you the side view better. Here's the side view of it when you stand away. So basically what you're looking at when you see that there, and I've actually went to this place, it's pretty wild. And when you're looking at it, you're looking at the two towers like collapsing, written in stone, right? And then in the center of the obelisk, which goes with, well, also then the whole thing is inside of a pyramid. So when you point, the pyramid itself in Florida points to right there. It's a little off center. I fucked it up there, but if you can go put in the coordinates yourself on Google Map, and the pyramid's pointing exactly to where the Twin Towers are. So this is in 1999. They made this thing, and the towers didn't collapse until 2001. So they had the 110 obelisk for the 110 floors. They had the things written in stone. That's why I'm saying when they built it, they knew it was going to go down. And this here in the center of the monument there's a blueprint for the One World Tower, which the Twin Towers weren't even down yet. So there should be no, you know what I mean? There should be no blueprint for the One World Tower.
I've never seen this before.
So all that fits exactly right inside that monument that's in, it's like I'm calling it the new Georgia Guidestones.
I would be interested to see if there's another monument that's
absolutely
similar to that layout.
There actually is, and I've tried to kind of look into it, but I'm sure there's more of them that do.
Well, the thing is because that monument it's facing north. It's also a triangle. It's representing the male aspect of the Star of David. So it'd be interesting if there was another monument with that shape that was inverted to represent the female aspect of the Star of David.
Possibly. And they say it points to where the plane crashed in the Everglades, but when you put it in the map like that, I didn't have it up, but it was like it's just ever so slightly off. It's not a straight line. Like when you point it to the Twin Towers, it's a little bit off center. So I think that's the one where it's pointing to the. I don't know. I want to go remake this because I have my own footage. I went down there with my wife and we checked it out. So it's not 100% coming out of the center of the triangle when you point to where the coordinates they say where the plane crashed, and no debris was ever found of this plane crash, and they tell you the Everglades is like 10 feet deep max, so no debris was found, and they say 110 people died. So basically, like I say, they're using all the, for lack of a better term, I would call it spells. They're using these like spells in your subconscious mind, like that Lampoon's Vacation, where you look at these things and subconsciously you know it, but your conscious mind doesn't know it, and somehow it's just like a mind fuck or something.
I agree with you. That's what I mean. It's not why I don't watch movies, but like I have the feeling when I watch movies, sometimes I feel like I get too emotionally invested in them. I don't like it. I don't like how when you watch certain TV shows or certain movies, it can change your entire outlook on your day and stuff like that. It makes me uncomfortable. So I don't really do it, but I mean, I do enjoy them sometimes. I'm not like one of those weirdos who's like, I'll never watch a movie. Like there are movies I like, but I just don't like that about it.
It's hard to watch movies, really.
Yeah.
Once to get into this shit. It's like just
Yeah, totally. I'm gonna put that link to that video in the chat if no one's
But
seen
boys-
it.
I really tried to watch that 1899 or whatever it was on Netflix because all the archaics
they're in
people.
Yeah, they say they're in a mothership just like archaics.
Yeah, I couldn't make it, but like 3 episodes. Like this is so dumb. Like you couldn't do it.
Yeah, in that archaic thesis, are we allowed to ask questions like that too? I'm curious because it's like if we ask them straight up, you say that these theories with the mothership are bullshit because there's no way to prove there's a mothership, but your theory literally says that there's a mothership. Do you not
Yes.
realize this? Do you like?
I know we got called out for saying that, but that
was insane. There was tons of pushback to us saying that he says you're inside of a mothership. That's literally what the fucking guy says.
literally what he says. I mean, like we weren't making that up.
It doesn't make any sense. But yeah,
No,
we need.
what do you guys? I want to kind of shift gears for a second. What do you guys think about? Or I want to ask Tartarian Truth. Shout out and thanks for coming on. But
Thanks for
what do you
having me,
think
man.
about that mind unveiled? The fucking he looks at postcards with babies on it, and then he says, "Oh, this is proof they're cloning babies to reseed empty cities in the early 1900s or late 1800s."
As far as the mind unveiled theory goes, I guess where they're coming from with that is that they were initially looking into the origins of where film came from. So they discovered Alice Guy, which apparently was the first person in France to make like an actual story, like a film with a story or something like that. So I guess that's how they discovered the Cabbage Patch Kid thing. But what do I think about it? I think it's ridiculous. I think
it's insane, right? It's just along the lines of archaics where you can just show up, say any fucking bullshit, and people are like, wow, it's not so much that the theory is insane, it's how much like views it gets and how popular it's made his channel and everything like that.
The other problem with it too is that the Cabbage Patch name, like the name of it, the Cabbage Patch Kids shit, like it doesn't do it justice. It's like a clickbait title almost, you know what I mean? That's the whole thing that makes me uncomfortable about it. It's because I want to defend the fact that they're looking into the incubation and all that stuff, and they're giving like that genuine thought into the history of creating film. But instead of actually titling the video that, they use clickbait titles like, oh, the Cabbage Patch Kids, and when that doesn't really have too much to do with the overall theory, I guess, at the end of the day. Like it is a part of it, but it's not necessarily where they're going with it at the end of the day. Like they're not genuinely saying that children were grown out of cabbage patches. Like they're not saying that whatsoever. They're saying that the film of Alice Guy pulling the kids out of the Cabbage Patch was representing some sort of cloning.
They say
incubation.
it's like cloning, right?
Yeah,
I
so,
feel like they generally never say anything though in their videos.
No.
Like,
well, a lot of their research
implied.
is just they're just kind of going over like other people's work and just presenting it, I guess. So
yeah.
but yeah, they don't really give their opinion too often exactly, and they contradict. Well, I wouldn't say contradict, since I guess they say they don't know, but they show different points that contradict each other, I guess.
I know early on, because I found them early on, and a lot of it seemed to be just remixing Michael Satarian's Irish theory or whatever early on. But yeah, I mean, in 2 years they got from being a new channel to 200K plus, like with the quickness.
Well, that Cabbage Patch has what, 150,000 or something?
The Biltmore video is the one that got the most views for them, which is actually like a decent, great research video. So this is my theory on Mind of it. Well, this is my opinion on them, I guess.
Yeah, Biltmore is very interesting.
They started out kind of doing what we were talking about before. They maybe saw some videos on YouTube and they're like, oh, I want to try this out. And maybe it got more popular than what they thought it would or something. And so eventually at some point he did start doing genuine research into this, because I've actually had a conversation with the dude about a hidden history before, and we kind of picked each other's brains about it. And
so wait, hold up. Is he Patchman from Spirit Science channel or not?
The cartoon Patch.
This is my theory. It sounds like the same exact guy.
Sounds like the exact same guy, if you know what Spirit Science is. I used to love that channel, dude, way back.
I'm not familiar with the channel, but I don't think it's him. I think.
Oh, dude, listen to one video of.
I'll pull it up right now. Hold
on. Let's hear it before I make my opinion.
Okay, so there's a video that Mind Unveiled did on sickness and vaccines, like early on, and then like this recent video right here, the principles of healing disease. It's like a lot of it's like straight after the
play it. You gotta listen though. It's all about the voice.
Yeah, let's hear it. Let's hear it.
It was brought to you by the Tao Te Ching, the virtual way.
Wait, I think I'm on sped up. No, I'm not.
No, you're not. Yeah.
Although
I
since the
think he
COVID
speeds up
pandemic,
his
the
voice
subject
for
of
the
mental illness has also risen to prominence as a great issue within the collective conversation and
No,
allow the
it's
free
too
flow
it's
of
too
light energy.
articulate already.
Yeah,
Sometimes
yeah.
in the spiritual
I think it's the same like intonations and shit. the
Yeah,
exact-
yeah. The more you listen, the more it's
Yeah, I'll check it out. But like there's examples early on in his videos and where you can tell straight up, like he'll talk about the stuff John Levi's talking about, like Lake Connie-bus and stuff out of nowhere. Like he'll be talking about one subject and then if you watch John Levi's videos, for example, you can tell like, oh, he's seen a John Levi video because he makes the same connections in the same line out of it's completely random if you don't know the John Levi thing. But when you've seen the John Levi video, it's like, oh, okay, yeah, maybe you got that from him. But then later on, like I said, it seems like he's done all of his own research and there's some things that are very historically accurate, and then other times they give those wild theories like the thought photography or the Cabbage Patch Kids type thing.
Yeah, I mean they make like epically long video. I was talking to Drew about this the other day. Like I was born in Pensacola and they have like a 5-hour video about Pensacola, Florida. Like
Yeah, they talk
I've
about
been
the tunnels and everything there. It's very
yeah,
interesting.
and I've been meaning to watch it. But you know, like I had found them early on and like I just couldn't keep listening to the stuff because it's just
So yeah, the Cabbage Patch Kids video specifically, there's a part where they start just like showing the pictures and playing the music. When I first saw it, I was like, dude, what are you guys doing? And then for some reason the music cuts out for like 2 minutes, so it's just postcards playing without any music. So it's kind of funny because it's like, did you even watch your video before you posted it?
right.
You
I
just
mean,
drop the
I just
music.
can't believe how popular it is, really, I guess.
I can because of the clickbait title. That's what I'm saying. Like if we were to watch that part 1 section of it or something, like you would see that he doesn't like there's nothing really in there. It's like that says Cabbage Patch.
I didn't realize he has such heavy hitter videos here. Look
Oh
at
yeah,
this.
those are the heavy hitters.
Oh, they're huge,
This one's
yeah.
almost
So
800.
this one right here, dude. The my grandpa worked at the Pentagon one. That's one of my.
Oh yeah.
I make fun of that one all the time, but it's actually a pretty good story. Like the girl, I guess it's like a good life lesson because she talks about talking about her grandpa worked at the Pentagon and she was raised by religious people, so she didn't take him seriously, and he was trying to have like a genuine conversation with her, and she just blew him off, and then he died. So she kind of like tells the story about that and how her grandpa, who worked for the U.S. military, apparently said that a lot of the stuff that they tell us was fake. So it's kind of interesting. But yeah, it's weird how that's their most popular video. And that secret Black Moors video, go up a little bit real quick.
Yeah, this one.
See that monster on the one-eyed there?
Yeah.
They literally say in one of the videos that is the origin of the black race. That monster, that giant one-eyed monster.
That's Saint Moses the Black right there.
No way, this thing.
He was a boxer.
Yeah,
Saint Moses the Black.
So like, I don't know if they were just reading that from something or what, but I'm just thinking to myself like, and then they say it's not about race, and they're hilarious.
They tie in a lot of like crazy theosophical stuff, and a lot of it. Like I know early on they had a lot of stuff that just came from Michael Tartarian, and I really do not like.
At least
Michael
they admit it
Tartarian.
though. Like they say straight up in the beginning of those videos, they're like, "This is from Michael Tartarian." So they're sharing the information, which is nice. But yeah, I mean, you can debate whether it's worth the views or not. But I think it's worth the views. I think they deserve what they have. But
no, they do. They definitely put some effort, huge effort into these videos. Like, so I mean, like, definitely not gonna hate on them for doing that. Yeah, like that Pensacola video is 5 hours long.
So they're saying these images, though, they just make this crazy logical leap that these images
they're clickbait.
Prove cloned babies.
They're not saying it's necessarily proof. I guess they're saying
it's speculation. But
the postcards is kind of like a way of indoctrinating people to think differently about what happened or something.
Then the idea is that there's empty cities, and then these empty cities are populated by young children, or what?
Yeah, I was talking about this the other night. The Tartarian community, they don't seem to no one wants to answer this question. I've asked multiple different people this question. Like, how does the World Fair situation that they talk about tie into the Siberian civilization known as Tartaria that existed at one point and potentially crossed over to America? But how does that tie into the late 1800s and stuff like that? And no one ever wants to answer that question. So yeah, basically what they're saying in that video and what John Levi has also alluded to was that the World's Fairs were used as schools to train these cloned people, I guess. and they were teaching them like the culture that we have today was taught at these World's Fairs. So that to me, I don't know. Like that's
so they're like blank slates, and then they go get programmed at the World Fairs or something like that.
yeah, like they talk about like how they introduced like hot dogs and weird stuff there like that. And so to me, I'm not sure, because a lot of these World's Fair buildings, when
You're
get
too nice, you're like, oh, I'm not sure. Yeah, it's bullshit.
it's pretty bullshit, but at the same time, like I can't say for sure just because I wasn't there. You know what I mean? Like I'm not.
I'll say for sure. That's
No,
not,
that's fine,
I agree. I agree.
I
I
know what you're saying,
agree.
though,
I agree.
but-
You know, like when I go down to Chicago, I always one of our customers is right there on South Side Chicago, and I have to go by the old World's Fair location all the time for work. So like after I do a job, I'll go and I always park behind the Museum of Science and Industry and like walk around the building and everything. But yeah, I mean I personally, I think like the Chicago's World Fair, the 1893 one. I don't think what we're shown, what was there, was actually ever there. I think a lot of that was like marketing, perhaps. Like, and how would we know? There's no Yelp reviews that we can go back and look at where people were like, "We paid all this money to come here, and then like none of this shit was even here. Like this is all fake." Like nobody would know whether or not that shit was there or not. I don't think most of that shit even existed, because it's still like a swamp. Like there's the Museum of Science and Industry that allegedly was one of the original buildings, but then when you look in the history of that building, many years later they rebuilt that whole building, and it's made out of cast limestone. Okay, so it's not an ancient building. It's not hundreds and hundreds of years old. It's not carved out of megalithic blocks. It's casted limestone. Okay, so they're making the blocks in a factory, shipping them, and putting them on this building. There's nothing spectacular about it.
Well, yeah, because I was going to Chicago a couple months ago, and I called the museum before I went there and was trying to find out more information about it. I was like asking questions like, "Did you guys have bathrooms when you first built it?" Just entertaining the Tartarian theories, just trying to get more answers about the type of things they're talking about. And they're like, "Oh, we don't know." So I thought that was weird. So it's interesting that you're saying it was rebuilt, because they didn't even know that, because I was asking them about like the people who work there didn't even know anything about.
Well, and it's interesting. It's been very interesting because for the past 2 years they've been doing a renovation on that building. So they've had like all the scaffolding built up and everything. So like every time I go down there, I go and I have like hours and hours of videos that I've filmed going around this place. I've never uploaded, but so they've had all the basic primitive. A scaffolding is primitive. Right? Like it doesn't take any super high technology to have a scaffolding or whatever. Like, but it was very easy to see how all this stuff could have been done very simply, because they rebuilt like this whole building in the last couple of years or whatever. But there has been some weird things. But what's crazy about that area, for one, the Obama presidential library is being built like right next to that building. They've been working on it for like 2 years, and they just now got like above ground level. So they've been working underground for like 2 years on this building, and then now they just now got like above ground level on this thing, and the whole area is like blocked off. They have like a huge fence with like privacy curtains and all this stuff around it and everything. So that's very strange. I think probably that's if dumbs are real, I think that place is probably a dumb, but who knows? I don't know. Whatever.
Have you heard of the pneumatic systems that were in most cities around the United States? Like, for example, in my city, there used to be one. It was like these postal services that were like airtight shipping. Basically, they could like send letters or send. I guess people would
like at the bank, the vacuum tubes at the bank.
Yeah, it was like a pneumatic type of thing. Like it was like all this underground shit. Like that's interesting. But so maybe that has something to do with it. I don't know. But as far as the pictures and stuff like that you're talking about earlier, I was thinking the other day with all this AI stuff coming out. Like if you think about the idea that the government uses the technology for years and years before it's released to the public, what if a lot of these old Tartarian pictures of the empty cities were created using AI art? Because we know the biggest problem with AI is it can't create humans very well. That explains that there's not very many people in those photos.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. That makes.
And you see like guys missing and all this stuff too.
So the part, see, the problem I have with this is because I've done for years, I've gone to whenever I'm out somewhere, like when I'm on the road for work, I'll go to like Capitol buildings and all this stuff. Like I'll take little side tours, and it's very, very easy to get pictures of these buildings and cityscapes and not have anybody in the picture. So like it's, I mean, that to me that's a moot point. Like just because there's nobody in one picture doesn't mean anything.
No, I agree.
I've done like 3-hour live streams on Instagram going through downtown Indianapolis and not engage and not come across a single person like in a major populated city. Same thing, even like in Chicago, I can go and walk around the Museum of Science and Industry at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And if I keep my camera pointed towards the building, I'm probably not going to get anybody in the picture, even though like I'm in the third largest, city it's very possible to get pictures of urban areas and not be anybody there. So like to me, that doesn't mean anything. Like it literally doesn't mean anything to me that there's pictures where there's not anybody in them. But
Yeah, I never thought it was too weird either, but when they bring it up, I guess the mainstream Tartarian theory is just that it's because they needed to repopulate the city. So I guess I was just thinking of alternatives of that too, because I don't.
and that's with like instant digital photography. I mean, there's a lot of the arguments made like, well, these are long exposure, camera techniques and stuff like that. So I mean, that also could explain it, but I would just say, like, I think, like, like the 1893 World's Fair in Chicago, like that one where it's taken like from above and it shows like the the waterway and the statue of the woman, and then like that huge grand whole thing. And I compared that to a lot of other pictures. Like, I think I don't think that was real. I don't think that was a real picture because even now, they rebuilt that statue of that lady, and it's in Jackson Park, which is not where it was originally, and it's like 1/3 scale. So that they have a statue of that still in Chicago near that area. So it's not very far away from it, but it's not in the original location. So they're saying that that statue was like 3 times bigger, and I just don't. I think it was a tourist scam. I think they got a lot of people to come to these things, and I don't think it was anything near the narrative that were sold that they were. And the biggest thing that I think about is I never looked into the 1933 World's Fair until Drew sent me a matchbox that he got from like uh, the garage sale, or yeah, he sent me this match. He sent me a matchbox from the 1933 World's Fair in Chicago, and I never looked at it before. And like the matchbox has, it's like Saturnian symbolism, all this kind of shit. But you look at the 1933 World's Fair, it's like a joke. I mean, like it looks pathetic. Like I don't know how we would, but I can still see the same kind of architecture. You can drive through that area, the land's the same, all this stuff. But when I look at the map of the 1893 World's Fair in Chicago, and having spent a lot of time in that area, I don't think all that ever really existed. I really just don't think they did that to that extent. I think there are some buildings. I think like probably the Museum of Science Industry and the Agricultural Building, which are the 2 buildings that still exist. I think probably they were still there. And then the midway that comes out that goes straight west from the Museum of Science Industry, which goes to this really super creepy fountain. I've made videos of the super creepy fountain on the other end, but like that was the midway, maybe the Ferris wheel on like Navy Pier and all that kind of stuff. But I think the idea that all these buildings were there, I think maybe partly is fictional, but it's not unreal that they would make like temporary buildings And the biggest thing that changed my mind on that was when I went to the Wisconsin Dells, and there's this theme park that the theme park is built on the idea of being like ancient Greece, ancient Rome, all this kind of stuff. And there's even like in the parking lot is the Ripley's Believe It or Not Museum, and it's the White House, but the White House is flipped
Yeah.
on its top, right, and it's sideways, like
And you
this
can
is
eat dinner in there.
mud. It's like mud flood right there, right? But the whole museum is like ancient Rome, ancient Greece. The whole theme park is ancient Rome, ancient Greece, but it's foam. But if you take pictures of it, you look at it, it looks 100% real. Like it looks like stone cold, but you go and you touch it and it's just fucking styrofoam. So it's not unbelievable that they made temporary structures just for a fair or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, I can stand behind that. And also the last point I would probably want to make about this is that kind of with the theme park thing you were talking about, I went to Universal Studios and I saw some of their, they have movies where there's like temples or whatever.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I saw some of that and compared it to the Parthenon in Tennessee, which was supposed to be there since the 1890s as well.
I've been there as well. I've been
So
there.
it's like you see that same weird, cheap concrete or whatever it's made. I don't know what it's made out of, but you see like that same type of material used in both situations. Now, the argument is that the Parthenon was rebuilt recently, but so there's that.
The one in Tennessee.
Yeah, so it's like,
Have you been there?
no, I haven't been there, but I've
Okay,
had.
so in the one part of there, they have like the old parts of it, and they really do look really, really old. Like the frieze, like the on the front on the roof, like in the triangle on the roof,
The
they have like
statues?
the frieze is what the frieze of all the
Yeah.
gods. They have the old version of that inside, and it really does look ancient to me.
See, the people who send photos are so mid. Like, that's the kind of shit I want to see.
The Athena statue, when you go inside to you have to go upstairs to the place where the Athena statue is. That is super cheesy and super fake. Like,
Yeah.
it's gigantic, it's huge, but it's super cheesy and it's super fake. And it's like, okay, well, that's obviously not some ancient shit or whatever. It was super crazy and great though, because like I'd been all this stuff the first time we were driving back. We went on a road trip with, anyways, my wife's granny came up. We went on a road trip or whatever. So, and I was like, I want to stop in Nashville and I want to go to the Parthenon. Like I told the family, we're doing this. I don't care if you guys are fucking bored the whole day. We're going and doing this. But I remember we got out of the car, parked the car, and walked up, and there's some like college like kids walking up the stairs at the same time. And then there's like regular size steps and there's like big size steps. And the kids next to me, he's like, one set of stairs is for the humans. The other set of stairs is for the gods. And I was like, bam, dude.
Oh,
But the doors at that place are really insane. The doors are the most impressive part of that place. 'Cause they really are insane, the doors on that place. But at the same time, even though the doors are big, the inside's small for normal. So it's not like the doors are made for giants, because if they came inside, they would be totally uncomfortable because it's not made for giants, like that's one of the other problems with that, right? But that whole idea, but no, that place is not ancient at all, but there's some ancient weirds. They also have a whole setup about like the antikythera mechanism or whatever, the thing they found in the ocean.
Yeah, that computer.
It's supposed the world's oldest computer or some shit, which I think is total bullshit as well, because they found a bunch of like a couple gears that are fucking corroded together, and then they extrapolated it to be. It's like dinosaur.
I was
bones,
just
right?
gonna say that, like a
They
dinosaur.
find like one fucking thing, and then they like make up all this other shit that goes with it. Like, oh, this is the most advanced computer. Like, well, no, you can't. You don't know that. You found like one fucking gear or whatever. Like, it's so stupid. But they have a lot about the World's Fair though in that in that part. But then they also have like a bunch of like stuff where you can play around with like ropes and pulleys and like old school cranes and like lift heavy stuff, and like it's a super interesting place.
Sounds
But
cool.
there's also like the dragons there as well. Like they have a big dragon statue.
Hey.
The dragons everywhere at all these.
Smiley said that the Antikythera mechanism, Jason said it was invented to predict the Phoenix event.
Wow. I never heard of that.
I think it's 100% bullshit is the way I look at it.
That's
because they literally made up all the other parts. Like, so they have a stack of corroded gears, like 3 gears that they x-rayed, but then to make that work, they have to add on all these other gears that didn't exist on what they found. So I mean, like, it's all fake. It's all bullshit. That in the Parthenon, they have like a replica recreation of it where you can actually like turn the wheels and shit. But if you look at, they only found like it's made up. It's fake. It's not real. It's not a thing. It's not
an analog computer.
You guys want to take some calls real quick?
Let's get it.
Anybody want to call in, man? Click the link.
Me use the bathroom real quick though.
Yeah, go ahead, man. Tartarian Truth in the house tonight. Appreciate him for stopping by. Follow him.
Finally a good stream. Jesus.
Woo! Tartarian Truth saved us, man. Oh man. We knew it'd be good if Tartarian Truth came on. His channel, I predicted before, his channel will surpass mine sometime this year.
Whoa, guys. Tri-Cob balloon.
I got the pinned link in the live chat if you want to jump on, maybe do a little panel, or we can just take questions or anything. We often have a hard time getting callers. I don't know why.
I think I scare people.
We're bullies.
Bullies.
That Carrie Bear, whatever, she said she talked about this channel somewhere else, and they were like, yeah, that channel is known bullies. They're known bullies, man.
We're just some real motherfuckers. Some real motherfuckers out here.
Real shit.
Real shit.
Real conspiracy shit here.
I got the literal Chinese spy satellite right here in the
that
studio.
Chi-Com shit, man. Look at that.
Chi-Com.
What a dumbass story that I just can't believe how like swept up people got into a dumbass story like that.
Literally, like what I've
like
said
the
this
biggest
before,
trending story in
all
like a year.
All genres, yeah. Conspiracy theories are mainstream.
Fucking lame. Not even a good one, dude. No. Okay. We got one.
Bam.
What's up?
Tranquil Vortex.
Get the Aussie up in here.
G'day. How you going?
How you doing?
Yeah, I'm all right. How you going? I'm loving this chat. Sorry to slow it down. You guys have just had the flow going really nicely. And
it's all good. You got a question or anything?
Yeah, that balloon, man. I watched Donut. You watched Donut? I saw Donut's thing this morning. That was pretty cool. He broke it down. You want one-on-one and Donut and stuff. Had a good chat about it. So that was fun to watch. And I just thought the whole thing's just bullshit.
Donut.
What's up, Tranquil?
I didn't watch it, but in Drew's chat this morning, I said that the balloon was going to be part of the egg ritual, and then later on that day, Donut dropped that video.
So Donut was in there, and he was like, "Shit, I got a new video, man."
Well, I don't know if we mentioned that, but it's possible, maybe, perhaps. So Donut did an interview with Sam Tripoli on the Tinfoil Hat podcast. And I think Donut was talking about Drew in that video because he said that there's this guy that was making fun of him. And then like Donut got all like butthurt about it. And like he was questioning his whole life. And like he didn't know what he was going to do anymore. But then he came to God and he said
to his dad. He talked to his dad. And, his dad
and then so he's like, well, now I watch all his videos.
So I think it was Donut.
I think
shout out to Donut.
Shout out. It's your boy Donut.
The Chuggalo Truther.
Seriously, I've never heard of him.
Even watching from Australia.
Even my
this guy came in my feed.
That bit my whole fucking style. Even my
this guy came in my feed, and I was like, "This dude is a Drew. He's jocking Drew's, like he's mimicking Drew." He came out of nowhere and had like 70, 80,
subscribers and shit.
But had the whole Drew flavor. Like even his icon is like Drew is the frazzle drip. Like he has a frazzle drip. icon and all this kind of stuff. Like,
It's like some 2018 like Instagram type shit. Like, yo, this shit.
yeah,
dude.
he goes through like old school like IG memes. Like literally, he has like a document camera and he like prints out like all the memes and he like goes.
He's like
through.
shuffling through them like Alex
Yeah.
Jones, like up top cam. He's like shuffling through them. He's got like good production value. He's got some raps that aren't bad, dude.
I am a bit, not old school, I wouldn't say, but pretty old, I guess. Like,
Some of his rap shit's not that bad, dude. The little bit I heard.
Yeah,
But he's definitely a juggalo. 100%.
Yeah. Sorry, I don't want to interrupt. I'm bad with the lag. I'm
good.
so sorry. Yeah, I'm kind of new to it. I actually, Shem was the one who I followed from Archaics. He jumped in there, and I thought, who's this dude? He's really interesting. So I jumped over, and he led me to you guys, and I was like, these are the people that are making sense. You guys are making sense, and I like that because all the other rubbish didn't make any sense, and I was trying to pick it apart, and was really grateful to find you guys. Yeah, you're awesome.
Shout out.
Yeah, appreciate
Good to meet you. It's good to meet you, Tranquil. I've seen you comment on some videos, so I appreciate you sharing everything with me.
Oh no, mate, I really appreciate you. You put a lot of work into your videos, and you make me laugh.
Dude, they're
so
fun.
much.
It's not work; it's fun stuff.
Yeah.
I only make a video if it's fun for me. Like at the end of the day, sometimes I guess I have done some suggestions of Space Buster video, but that was still
Hey
fun.
Shem, did you raise enough money for a computer yet or no?
Oh no, I turned off the I haven't been doing monetization.
Hey everybody, eat them super chats. We're trying to get Shem a computer. We're trying to get tickets to go to the Archaics meetup. All right.
The three amigos.
Y'all being cheap. Y'all be cheap as fuck tonight.
Stevie J, a drop bear's real. Okay, man, you got to watch those drop bears.
Real?
Drop bears. Drop bears.
That Australian accent's hitting different. I can't understand what you're saying.
Yeah, I don't.
Oh, okay, a drop bear.
Bear?
A drop bear.
Bear?
Yeah. Bear. Drop bear.
Bear.
Ask her if drop
they're
bear.
the ones out in the bush. You gotta be careful. They're out in the bush, mate.
What is that? Is that some
I love your accent.
I've never heard of a drop bear. What is that?
Oh man, it's scary as shit. You gotta
It's
be
a real
careful.
thing?
Hey, so what do you think about koala bears? Are koala bears real? Because we think they're fake.
Oh my god.
Koala bears fucking stink. Oh, sorry, I saw. They stink. They smell real bad. Like they smell like eucalyptus and
eucalyptus smells good.
Oh, Jason loves eucalyptus.
They're really stinky, and they
anybody got the hooked up on the eucalyptus essential oils? Let me know.
I need some illegal eucalyptus oil for my top lip. For my top lip.
That's terrifying.
Me that young living eucalyptus.
If you're putting that eucalyptus oil on your top lip,
Vicks vapor robe shit.
Serious trouble there going on.
Is this real shit? Like this
bear?
That is a wet koala bear, but with somebody put a dog mouth on it. I think that might be a little AI go. You got a little AI photo going.
Oh, it's not real. It's like fake.
That chick holding.
She got a whole armored suit on.
Well, you need it. They do have claws. They climb trees. The one above in the tree. Yeah.
It's real or not real?
Have you held one before, Tranquil?
Yeah. Yeah.
But see, my one of my daughters likes to watch this show on Netflix. There's this girl that has like a koala rescue fucking thing or some shit.
Yeah, my neighbor down the road here had a koala in her tree the other day. My sister's got him down near her place.
So
it's just bizarre. Oh, there's a drop bear. See, there you go.
Wait, what?
Yeah, that's not real. You could fool me though. I don't know anything about Australia.
You gotta be careful in the bush. Pretty much everything out there will try to kill you and eat your ass for jujubes. It really will.
Is it really as bad as they say it is there with the oppression and stuff, or is it pretty chill?
Yeah, with like the COVID and all that lockdown. Damn it, I said it.
Well, I won't say the word. It was a pretty interesting couple of years for people who didn't want to go with the mainstream things. So at the moment, it's pretty chill.
Nice.
But it feels like a pause more than anything. It's just recess. We'll see how we go.
They're waiting on what popular opinion is or something. I'm not sure. Yeah. We'll see what happens.
Australia folded, mate. Australians folded.
Hey, while we're on the topic in that neck of the wood, I mean, Australia's probably not even real as well as koala bears, but shout out to Claire.
I'm upside
Shout out
down.
to Claire in New Zealand, our Kiwi. We miss you, Claire. I don't know where you're at, but
Claire, we're waiting for you to hit us up.
we had a stream with Claire.
Oh shit!
Like,
You got a 70. Wait, what the fuck?
70
is
ZAR. I don't know
that?
what
I don't know
that
what
is.
that is.
Is that like $6? But that I appreciate it. I don't know what it is. I don't even know what ZAR is. So
I'm
shout
looking
out
it
to
up right
Bradley
now.
Truth. He says Pancho Pete showed how Archaics Levi Santos are inverted, making Jason's prison story fake. Says Chalk Body's one of them. Oh, I'm an invert. There's someone that said me and my wife are an invert couple.
talking about Niven or who are we talking about?
Pancho Pete. I've never heard of him. Well, I finally made it in the truth world where I'm being
Share
called
that
an
link.
invert.
Hey,
JG
that Jack boy-
was saying I was a tranny the other day in one of the chats.
dude-
Jack Boy 7 called you one the other day too, Drew. Did you see that video?
Who did?
This dude named Jack
Well, I
Boy
got
7.
Tubbs from JG, so Tubbs was nice. That was cute.
It said
Damn,
it's 50.
I'm a straight up invert, bro.
I'm team
I made it.
team JG now.
I'm a real
No,
conspiracy
I
boy
know,
now.
I know. I'm just the
Real
Aussie
boy.
watching it all from the future, watching all the shit go down. It's good fun. I appreciate you guys. Thanks again. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go
All
and
right. Appreciate you
All right,
calling.
have a
grab
good
a
night.
beer. It's 5:00. So
Enjoy
thanks
it.
very much.
Yep.
See you.
Thanks for calling. Anyone else want to call in? We'll give it a few more minutes and see if anyone else wants to call in. I'm just excited that now I'm an invert in the truther community. What
Shit's
about
crazy.
this though?
It's fake.
It's fake,
It's
Yeah,
glued
it's fake.
on, obviously.
I guess. Any updates with the Santos Bonacci situation? Do you know anything about that, Shem?
I haven't heard anything because this is supposed to be the month where they're gonna expose me or something. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully,
Who
they
said
do.
they were going to expose you? I didn't hear this.
Santos did in one of the videos. I think it might have been anti-dumbfuck or cunt or whatever he said. I don't remember what he said.
Anti-dumbfuck.
But he, I
Dumb as
He's gonna look at this
shit.
faggot. He's gonna
Yeah,
look at this faggot.
Dumb as
Dude.
dog shit.
that shit was
It's
amazing.
fucking funny.
I laughed so hard for that. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens.
You
It'll be
press the
interesting.
intelligence button, it will press 0.
That interview would have been insane, though. I wish that shit would have happened.
Oh, that should have happened.
I don't know why.
I
they
mean, you're
figured
an epic level troll, Shem. Like, and like, I'm very glad that you have graced us with your presence. You really
dude.
are next level, and we
You guys are the
appreciate you
boys.
being
I appreciate
associated
you.
with us.
I hate compliments, so I'm sorry if I'm awkward, but I appreciate you guys. Thank you. But yeah, I mean,
Your hair
it's
is
just fun
so
to hang out.
beautiful. When are you going to be an invert with all that hair, man?
Dude, I am.
You're just not on my level
that's
yet,
what they
bro.
call me.
Oh, okay.
They call me that shit, and it's
So
funny.
you're
as
an
fuck.
invert, so you made it.
I mean, that's
It's
what
EBT.
Niven's saying,
Someone
right?
said the P in EBT stands for trans.
Oh,
So I
shit.
guess we're all real boys now. All right, no
Enslaved
one else.
by
We have a
trannies.
hard time getting callers, man. Are you guys scared? Come on, Robin, call in.
Shout out Beholder. Shout out Robin.
We know Robin will call in.
I mean,
What's
like,
up? Hey, really quick before we end this, what's up with this whole Fat Elvis thing? This shit's hilarious. Fat
the
Elvis
dude in here,
Jr.
Fat Elvis.
I saw Toilet Bowl Earth posted something about like Black Elvis too. What's up with all this?
This Fat Elvis dude, he's been around all these channels for a long time. Shout out to Fat Elvis. He's a low key troll,
Love the name.
but he's cool.
Square peg round hole.
The Black Elvis thing, I don't know what that was about. I saw Toilet Bowl posted that. It's probably a jab at Jurassic or something. Yeah, that's
the link is pinned. We're not gonna harass anybody. Okay, we're not gonna be mean. Okay, anybody wants to call in, we'll be nice. I promise.
Oh yeah, no
Okay.
doubt.
Yeah, Shem, we got all new content for you. You got to look up Jurassic Liars 26 Gold.
I need it. There's a couple things I need some
And
links for.
the other one is, have you ever looked up the When the Buildings Cry?
I've heard the name, but no, I don't think I've seen a video.
That dude Jerry DeCamp, and he used
Oh,
to
yeah.
by Subphotonic, where he says everything is melted buildings, even continents, and
Red bricks.
right here, marshmallowing red bricks. You got to
Wow.
look it up, dude. When the Buildings Cry, you'll have fucking content for days.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I'm working on a Mind Unveiled parody right now. Like it's been a lot of fun so far.
And if you want to do that Archaics documentary, dude, I got a lot of fucking deets on them, man.
Yeah, we got to link up for that because I want to just I don't know if we're gonna like have the actual interview in it or if we'll just kind of talk about details and organize it together or something. So we'll just figure that out later. But yeah, I mean,
Robin says Snyder man told her he can't call in. She can't.
I mean,
With the Jeff Snyder 3.
okay, so this documentary it absolutely has to have footage live from the RK convention,
dude,
or it's so. Y'all need to yeet them
someone on
super
my
chats.
Instagram
Come
said
on,
they were
people.
going. I'm pretty sure. Like some dude messaged me on Instagram about it, so I think he might be going. Maybe he could like give me some footage if we can't go.
I'm buying
Is
tickets
she in the
tonight.
movie? Jahiri?
Jahara.
or her
Jahira's in the
Jahara.
movie with she's in the on the Black Rappers album cover with their ass hanging out.
Jesus. Speaking of archaic gossip, I haven't seen Jasmine in Japan around in a while.
Wait, what'd you say, Sean?
Have you guys noticed that Jasmine in Japan hasn't been around recently? It seems like.
Ooh, I haven't noticed that. Well, I haven't been watching. I'm waiting for your covers of it. I'd rather watch that, but
I've just been so busy with work.
Japan was the one sending the drawings and all that.
Well, yeah, I mean, even the last one he dropped was from old shit.
Yeah, I have a bunch of videos like that I've been working on, but it's just I've been working a lot and spending time with my dogs. And I'm not.
I did notice that him and Matt, though, there was like a little 2-week period where they didn't live stream. I wonder if there was a little quarrel there.
I was thinking the same thing because at the last video I posted the full stream of that. At the beginning, he went on like an even longer rant, which is the video I wanted to post, but it's just too fucking long. Like it's like 40 minutes, but but yeah, he talks about like, oh, I shouldn't have said that about Matt and blah blah blah. And I was thinking like, did he get an argument? Yeah, so.
We got CA in the house. What's up, CA?
Oh, hi guys.
Okay, that's obviously a troll. I gotta click it out before the N-words start flying.
The N-word.
Obviously.
Yeah, I mean, it was a good time. Let's work on that archaic thesis. Get it done.
Yeah, we will. All right, man. Well, thanks to everyone that was in the chat. Thanks to you pussy ass non-callers. Shout out to EBT. Go follow at Enslaved by Truth on YouTube. Go follow Shem, the famous Tartarian Truth. I predict you will surpass me in subs very shortly. See you guys later.
Appreciate you. Have a good night, everyone.
End of video.